Okay.
Would you like to start with?
Pledge.
Okay.
And then
Please join me in the
want to come right up here and the camera's up there so people can.
Oh, goody. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you remain standing.
You want to look at the camera?
Oh, boy. Yeah, I guess this side is better. Anyway, let us offer a prayer. If you're not so inclined to pray, I would just invite you to take a moment of silence while we pray. Let us pray. Gracious and compassionate God, we invite you into this space and into all of our hearts as we reflect on this day. Many of us with our own memories of 18 years ago, where we were, when we heard. Some of us, it brings tears to our eyes. Some of us, it brings rage. There's all kinds of emotions, and we invite you into all of it. We pray today for peace. We pray for wisdom. We pray for compassion and love for one another. And we pray for all of those who lead governments, whether they're at the town level, the state level, the national level, or the world level, to rule with kindness and compassion, intelligence, and love and thoughts of peace. We offer this prayer not just for our country that we love dearly, but for the entire world. We offer this prayer today in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you. Nobody wants to do it. Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Did we shout that out?
Reverend Maureen Steele. Okay. That was, Reverend Maureen Steer offered the prayer and the pledge. Thank you very much. Did anybody else want to have anything to say, or we all set to go right to business?
That was awesome.
Right to business, okay. I guess, let's talk about, I think the letter was on top.
Yes.
Okay, everybody read that?
Yes.
Do you want to wait till you talk, Earl, about that? It's been solved? That letter? You all set? Okay, I'll wait till you talk. Okay, moving to the,
Sorry.
that's okay. Moving to the public minutes for August 14th.
I will make a motion to approve the public session minutes on the 14th with corrections that have been sent to Tammy.
I have some corrections off. I'll second that. Go to page 4 on the back. The big paragraph on the top. The 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences down and see my name. Read that sentence right then. What it should have been is the school building maintenance and repair fund, not the CIP designs. Okay, and that was probably my error, not yours, Tammy. Okay? Do you want my minutes and I take yours?
School maintenance and repair.
Yeah, it's right here in red if you would like it.
No, I'm all set.
Okay, and that was started in 205. Anybody else have any other corrections? Doug, aye.
Aye. Aye.
All right. Pass. Oh, Paul called in and he's been he's on a hiking trip.
Who seconded? I'm sorry.
I did.
Thank you.
I gotta get that right. Okay, going to non-public for August 14th, 2019.
I will make a motion to approve the non-public session for August 14th. And any corrections that I had were sent to Tammy, but I don't think I had any.
You didn't.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Emily, okay. I didn't have any either, okay. Douglas, aye?
Aye.
What was it?
I wasn't.
Okay, all right.
Oh, you, that's right, you had to.
He's an
Aye.
abstainer.
You had to abstain, sorry.
Okay. Now, the other reason that this one's back in here for, we have to approve it because we inadvertently left out the dollar amounts. Is that right, Nate?
Yes.
So the 38,200 up to, 298 had to be put in there, and then up to 45,149.64 had to be put into Wednesday, May 8th, when we had the public hearing.
And
So go ahead.
Oh, you gonna make a motion?
So we should put it after school districts environmental trust fund in the amount of blah blah or
Blah,
up
blah,
to
blah, blah.
Up to.
for the purpose of, okay.
So
Because
the,
it was
district technology expense fund, expendable fund should be the up to 38,298.
up to, okay, got it. Thank you.
Did you make that motion, Peg?
I will make a motion to approve the corrected minutes from May 8th.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
That's okay, thank you very much. Douglas, aye?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Okay, you're up.
Well, come on, Nate, where are those red things?
Oh, I didn't
Oh,
ask
never mind, all right, sorry.
public comments, sorry.
I do have them.
I know you don't.
Anybody have any comments?
Maintenance and repairs fund trust.
You can speak later on anytime you want, Larry, I ain't gonna stop you.
Up
I hate these reports. Wait, show me my thing.
Public comment for perhaps later. I was at the school board, I'm sorry, well, I am at the school board, planning board, when we were doing some CIP. Peg and I had a discussion about that, Bruce and I had a discussion about that, and if that is a useful part of your own discussion, let me know. If not, I will cover it under public input for general information.
I did have that down, and I've already spoken to Doug after our conversation today, so, and he said it's covered. He's got it covered.
Okay, where's Bob
And had we
Adams?
known
Bob
about
Adams.
us having to be there that meeting, then it would have been then, but I was taken by total surprise.
Okay, all right.
You wanna say
Okay,
that
thank you.
something?
Pardon?
What are you talking about?
Oh, the planning board. It was a planning board meeting, and I went for the Mighty Joe,
Mm-hmm.
and it just had the CIP on the agenda. And we never got any kind of a notification that they wanted us there, and so it was, anybody here from the school? And somebody went, I heard, and I went, oh, I don't know. So, anyway, I'm gonna try to answering questions the best I could, and based on what Doug had told us, I was hearing the opposite of what was actually said at the meeting that everybody else had. So, anyway, I walked out afterwards and called Doug and went, Doug. So, I think we now have it
Oh, we have a meeting,
the 17th.
yeah, everybody, the board is invited to be there. Okay. Earl, I think you're up.
Okay, school year began. As soon as the first day hit, all of the hard work that the staff of the administration and the school board did prior to the beginning of the school, you could see reach fruition. Learning began in the very beginning. All of our staff was hired. We didn't have a great deal of positions to fill, but those that we did recruit some very good folks, and they're all doing very well, even though it's been a short time of the year. And we are looking toward a very good year. We've been planning things out. On the website, we're trying to recruit people. Schools cannot do it alone. We have to share in what our aspirations are, what our hopes are, and what our dreams are. We've had extraordinary grads here. They have gone on and done great things. All the time people are posting great things on the staff about all of the great work our grads have done. There's many in the community. There have been folks that have come back. We have one coming back to teach math this year. And we've been very proud of the uniqueness and the heritage and the tradition. So what we're looking to do is the portrait of a graduate. And what that essentially means is it's on the website that I have as far as the district is concerned, and it is on each of the schools. So what we're trying to take a look at is what the entire folks in the community, we're going to have students, we're going to have staff, we're going to have community. And we're going to be looking at just what I said, what our collective vision is of a grad of our school. And this is a collaboration, hopes and dreams. So we want to take into account the learning experiences that we would hope a graduate, as a result of going through school here, has, what their learning experiences are, and the college and career that they are prepared for that. They are prepared to be lifelong. So this is a strategic action plan where the community is input. So what you're doing is, in essence, you're building a blueprint, a roadmap of what the portrait of a grad looks like. And there's a lot of dreaming and aspirations and pride. Every school is so unique. And the portrait of a graduate should speak and tell you, yeah, we're proud. We're very unique. This is what our school is producing. And all of the things, the collective visions that we have as we frame the school, as we spend and so forth, we go back to what the vision is. It's imperative that it's the community's school. Schools can't do it alone. It isn't me, it isn't the administration, it isn't the school board. It's the whole community. And no one can do it alone. So please, 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 the doors are open. This is your time to come in and share what your aspirations are, what your hopes are for the students here. So in sum, that is what it means.
Can I just add something? I wouldn't want anyone to be confused by the portrait of a graduate. It's not a high school only. A portrait of a graduate starts at kindergarten. So it's definitely a whole school, a whole district endeavor.
That's a very good point. It's entire district, it's entire town and community.
That's right.
So that's very well put. Thank you. Okay.
Well, you're not done. What about your letter?
Pardon me?
Your letter.
My letter.
Colleen,
This letter.
the bus.
The bus.
The bus.
The wheels on the bus. The wheels on the bus.
Want to talk about that?
Bug.
Oh, yes, I do. We would like to thank Ms. Colleen Bruce for Tim Eldridge. She was kind enough to allow the bus to turn around in her driveway. So therefore, we will be able to have our transportation on time. And we thank her very much. There's a lot of thank yous. There's all sorts of folks that have given things for the school prior to school year beginning. Nancy West has done her a fantastic job and worked with each of the schools in getting things for us. Les Elder called and he received some things, and actually we're going to put on the website, try to put all the names of the people that have helped us, because there's so many and I don't want to forget one, but I want to thank you very much, because so many things has happened and so many people have given us a hand. Because like I said, schools can't do this by themselves. Thank you.
No,
Doug?
Sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
I just had on the prior, the whatever you wanted to call it, about the graduating students, and I have gone to the Wall of Distinction the last several years and been totally impressed with some of the new graduates and what they're doing and where they are now, and going, wow. So we do have some fantastic kids graduating and then, becoming adults and really adding a lot to the community and to the world. I mean, one of them was world.
Yeah.
So,
Now that that's brought up, I was going to speak with Jan. I don't know if any of you have seen, there was a YouTube video about a valedictorian that stood up and thanked everybody, and then turned around and lambasted all the student council, her guidance counselors, for not helping her get into school. I can tell you, as somebody who went to a very large school, never saw a guidance counselor, never knew about SATs, never knew about what paths I could choose, okay? Luckily, I succeeded because I wanted to. I didn't have all those options. And it's very important, especially in a small school, that our guidance counselors really guide some of our students. And none of them should fall through the cracks. And there's no excuse in a small school. And I'm not saying we are, I'm just bringing that up because I saw that. That there are so many opportunities that kids don't realize that are out there. And I wish I personally had known about more of my opportunities, but I think we can do better by our generation. So I wanted to bring that up to Jan, and you brought that up during our portrait.
And both of our guidance counselors are new graduates.
And then
That's awesome.
I had something else, a couple things I wanted to say.
another
I-
success story.
yeah. And then I wanted to bring up that I personally wanted to thank you on how you handled the recent situation, and that hope you know you always have my backing, because I feel that you do everything the right way, and I hope you don't take anybody's criticism personally, because you do a great job.
Thank you.
And my final comment was, I wanted to thank Lowe's for their generous donation to our school, because they have never donated any of their plants or anything else. They donated
A gazillion.
a gazillion plants that would have been thrown into the trash. And because of that, they are now going to donate every year. I don't know who they're donating to, but they are going to donate every year their leftover vegetable and herb plants. So I wanted to say thank you to Lowe's.
Can we send them a letter?
We already did.
Good job.
We already
Did you
did.
do
I
the
already
second one?
did.
Then we,
Because they made two separate donations. The first one was a few
I didn't know
plants,
it
and
was
then
two separate ones.
the second donation was 4 truckloads of plants.
I did the first one,
Right, and the
but
second
I
was
haven't done the
community.
I
next
didn't
one.
realize there was a second one.
Yeah, it was
I'll
4
send another
truckloads.
one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was-
Like I said, we have
That was
had
the second.
so many people come forth with so much that it's almost hard to keep up with.
So is that-
And then Peg Heard will go through the scoreboard,
okay.
Well,
all the people that have helped with that at some point.
I thought you said school board, and I'm going,
The
what?
scoreboard.
Scoreboard. Okay.
but I
And you
think,
can't forget the scoreboard, come on.
I think there's a lot of other names that should be put on that wall of distinction in that community room that have been successful from our school system. And then it's too bad because you only get to put so many up there.
Well, I
Where
know
is
that
that?
they go through,
So,
because I talked to
community room,
Norma Tachi,
Tages,
sorry.
that's all right.
It's one of those unpronounceable names.
It is.
Anyway,
I thought
and
it was
they end up getting quite a few different nominations, and then they just go through, so it's not as if we only have, say, 5 or 6 a year or every 2 years, because there are a lot that, Joe is this much better than Bob. Maybe we'll put Bob for 2 years from now. So I mean, it's just kind of, so there are you're right, an awful lot of graduates who have really been very successful and
Okay.
given an awful lot.
Okay.
I just want to sort of echo some of those kudos too. If it's an okay time to do that, I want to say the same, Jan. We really appreciate what you do. But also just same at MES. Like right now, my daughter's going through a very hard time, and her teachers and guidance, Mrs. Boyajian, Mrs. Brown, Mrs. Doan, Mrs. Welch, have been exceptional. Totally, people in the office, teachers, everyone is sort of surrounding her and supporting me, and I'm so grateful that to be part of MES and to have that.
All set? Moving on. You didn't have anything else, did you? You all set? Okay. All right, administration, financial report.
Take one, pass them down. Okay, the infamous questions from a certain board member to Nathan with the answers. I'm just going to start with a new software system and just trying to get used to it. So my first comment was still not particularly fond of the new expense report layouts and headings. What happens is at the very beginning of a section, you see the totals rather than at the bottom. So it's like, really? So anyway. So some of my questions, Nate is still trying to work on the overall look of the reports so that they're a little bit more closely aligned to what we had been used to for the last 100 years, or at least 99 years. I did not, because we only have the 2 months, I did not have any specific questions, line items, but at this point, through August, we are at 36.9% remaining, which we've only been in 2 months. But a lot of amounts have been encumbered, stuff that we know we're going to be paying out, teacher salaries, this, that, the other thing, as best as can be estimated. So that 36,000 already accounts for an awful lot of money that's been encumbered, so that's not a problem right now. One of the other things was both Doug and I looked at specific encumbrances for operations and maintenance. And, he very, very kindly, Nathan, added what has been encumbered for both the schools, and it's a backup to the answers to my questions. If you want to go through that, because I didn't get that until tonight.
Peg is talking about on your August, page 20.
Yeah, sorry.
Make sure we're on the same one. Maintenance repair of buildings, I was concerned. So was Peg.
Yes.
About, we're already spent, well, maybe we've encumbered a third and a third. So that does not leave us much money the rest of the year for the buildings. So I'm, I know we have the renovation fund, but that's, I think we're going to find that we're using that up.
Well, if we use it up, then we use it up. We can only do what we have.
Peg, do you have anything else? Go ahead.
Nate wants to go through it.
Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, I just want to explain it. The amounts aren't exactly the same because I included September, so it's a little bit different. Not a lot, maybe a few $100s,
Yeah.
but in case that question comes up. But the point of this was to show what's being encumbered so far, the vendor, and then the next 2 pages is basically just showing you that it's part of the budget. So we anticipated all of these expenses.
Right.
So, knock on wood, so far, we haven't had any unanticipated expenses.
But last year our budget went over those 2 lines by
By quite a
$33,000.
bit, yeah.
$33,000.
So this is really good. Thank you, Nate.
But I think what I'm trying to lay the ground for, we do still have major projects, and there's buildings that need to be done. Take a look.
Nate,
Go ahead.
what do we budget for snow removal?
It's under the budget line.
It's 1,000 per line. There's 2 lines, I believe.
That's it?
Yeah, that's just for roofs.
Okay. And who does it?
We have to outsource that.
Okay.
We've budgeted it now for, I think, the past 3 or 4 years, and we luckily haven't had to use it yet.
Well, that's good. Okay. And then, what about the walkways? Who,
We do it ourselves. Well, Bob and
the
the
custodians?
staffs do it, yeah. The custodians.
Thank you.
Do you have anything more, Peg?
Well, my last one was just the final reports for FY19, because I'm sure that the Budget Committee would like to see them. And if any of us want to see them, Nate said that he would be more than happy to send them. And I'm sure he's going to tell us how much we're sending back to the town, or you're not.
Yep. Can we answer the first question, though? Does anybody want a copy?
All I want is
Well, I would like a copy, just,
And Doug, you too?
yeah. I would like
Okay.
one, yeah. And that'll be for the next meeting?
or you can send it to us ahead
I
of
can
time.
send it ahead of time, or
My
it's up
printer
to you
doesn't
guys.
work anymore.
Well, I can print it, but
Okay. I'll do
I
it.
just didn't want to print more than I had to. That's
Yeah,
all.
okay. Yeah.
So I'll be sending that to the Budget Committee as well.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
Also, the last question that Peg had was about the fund balance. We ended the year with a fund balance of $163,089, and then $60,000 is going to the warrant article to replenish the maintenance fund. So all in all, we'll be giving back $63,089 to the town. And then this last page that you have in the handout is the yearly snapshot of how that looks.
Everybody got that?
Yep.
Any questions?
Thank you, Nate.
I want to move on to the revenue reports. Any questions?
The
Go
only
ahead,
thing I
Peg.
can say about the revenue report is that if you look at it, we have the totals at the top of the section, and then, oh my goodness, totals are brought down to the bottom underneath the section. So that was one of my questions for Nate, was can you do that for the expense report too? But I had no other questions on the revenue reports.
Okay, so we're okay on the revenue report?
It looks really nice. I could read it.
We got 2 grant reports, one for July and one for August. Do I have any questions?
No.
Moving on. Okay, Milton School Board District Activity Report. And this would be for September 4th, 2019. Any questions? Moving on.
Oh, yes.
This is your latest balances in your Milton School Trust Fund balances. And I think Nate, a month or 2 months ago, gave us a breakdown of all these figures and where the money's going. Does anybody need a refresher, or they can find it in their notes? Page 75.
I know, it's just Peg.
Go ahead, Peg.
Well, I have to say, and I know Nate and I have gone through this, and I don't know if you can change the header of this one, but the Budget Committee does not like the header pending payments. What exactly does that mean? I get asked.
To be spent.
It's encumbrances.
What word do they want it to be?
I don't have a
Do
clue.
you really need me to change it?
No.
Excuse me, you don't have to go every month.
They don't want me to go.
Well, pending
It
payments.
means pending.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but it's not so much that we've already, and I've tried explaining this to them, that we have not received the invoices yet, but we've done the work, we have to this, that, and the other thing, and then we can cut the check. And then that amount will be obviously deducted.
Could somebody tell me what the definition of pending is?
It's waiting,
Larry,
pending.
the definition of
Define
pending?
The definition of pending
Yes.
is waiting for Larry's neurons to catch up with the conversation. All he knows he was writing something else down.
Larry's response is pending.
A general government accounting practice, as the definition that no matter what the opinion of the budget committee on a local basis might be, does not trump a general accounting practice as a professional discipline.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good
Larry.
answer.
So,
But pending means that it's hanging in the
Yeah,
air.
we're waiting.
Yeah.
okay.
Are we all set there? Page 75?
Page 75. Okay.
So I guess it's fine.
Okay.
I think it is too.
I agree.
Keep
Okay.
Makes sense to me.
as is.
So,
And it made sense to me too, but.
Larry's definition.
Well,
Okay,
keep as is.
Page 76 and 77, I think that's you, John?
Yes.
Now, I got a question to ask John and Jim. I dropped some stuff off that somebody donated. Is his name Weldon?
Oh, Billy Walden, yes,
Yeah.
the backpacks and,
He donated a bunch of items that he collected to the MES and the middle and high school. So that needs to be mentioned also.
Exactly.
Okay, all right, go ahead,
Are
John.
they backpacks? Is that,
I brought you in a box of,
What was his
2
name?
boxes.
okay, so that
Billy Weldon.
Susan
Walden.
Welch has them. I'll check with
Weldon.
Susan.
Yeah, I brought him into the nurse.
Yep. Great.
Go ahead, John, you're up.
Well, we had very successful first few days of school. First few days with staff went very well. We had our meeting at noon, like we used to do, and then we had our daily staff meeting. Also, on our second day, we had a meet and greet. I had a couple of parents concerned that they wouldn't be able to walk their kids to class on the first day. We had kind of stopped that practice a couple of years ago. Well, actually, after my first year, because in the second year, it was very scary because they were parents. I had no idea who they were. Everybody just walking through the building. So it was, to me, a real safety nightmare the first day of school. So, after a couple years later, we changed it. We had the open house the night before. And now that we were going after Labor Day, what we did was what's called a preview day. They came in from like 2:15 to 3 o'clock. If they want to come in and meet the teachers, and I asked them, it's not the open house. Come if the kids are kind of stressing, if they're brand new to our school, or the parents are stressing. Please, come and alleviate your stress. And we had a few parents. It wasn't a lot of parents, but it was good. Our open house was filled. It was really good. A lot of people. I want to thank the PTA for the cookout. That was very well received. You had some pictures there. Also, it was a no tears day. It was one of the first, except for in middle school where they were pushing the kids out of the car, but that was in middle school. But now there were no kids crying. We didn't have the guidance counselor having to deal with any issues like that. Not even any parents crying. Everybody was okay. It was really good. It was a very happy day. So it was really nice, and the kids were very happy to be back, which was really good to see. So, so that was that, and then we had our enrollment. There was one mistake on grade 2 in the back. It said those are the grade 1 numbers. It's an Excel document, so I was picking up the grade 1. The formula picked up the grade 1, so I corrected it. Here's the top number, the 41 or whatever that is. Right? 41 is correct. It was just the classroom size number. We're wrong. So that's our enrollment. We're still every day getting a new kid here and there. We got our withdrawals, so forth and so on. So it's been up and down. So I would say that it'll hopefully settle down around October 1st. So we'll see where we're at. So it's the big bump we got last year's kind of back down to where we were previous year. So, but it's steadied out. We lost some kids in grade 3, which was unexpected. And the other thing we're doing for the year is our theme for the year is the walking on the beach with starfish, and you can make a difference every day. The poem's there, and I wanted to give you guys. Everybody got these, and we're all about the ocean, and everybody has. Rather than just calling, like 1M from Miss Marquis' room, they're the megalodons, and Miss Lanois with the lion jellyfish, and the silvermen of the silver dollars, the stingrays, the seahorses. They all have different names this time. So it's all about the ocean. So I wanted to make sure you guys
Thank you.
starfish, because all of you make a difference every day
you.
for
Thank you, John.
Is that a real starfish? Or is that a plastic?
No, it's
Yeah.
real.
We didn't make a difference with him.
Put your finger on it.
just
Finger.
enough. So that's our theme for the year, and I also told the kids they make a difference every day. That they have to, be respectful to each other and help, and they can make a difference to their fellow classmates every day.
Thank you, John.
Huh?
These ones not making it.
Yeah, well, I said that. I said, let's make sure they get the ocean so they're not like dried up and colored for some principal's entertainment. That was what I said to the staff. I didn't say, but yes, yeah, they didn't make it in. And that, we went back. Andrea Corso was the one. She said they're dead, that you're ordering these, and I'm like, well, it's symbolic. So what can we do? They were already worth
Only
it. We
Andrea.
made a difference, really. So leave it in.
It
Only
just
Andrea.
shows through the years, nothing, it's still the kids and the staff and how to connect with them. Years ago, it was called a paradigm shift. And they showed the film Joe Barker, if you remember that, Peg, from your days at the Rochester School. I bet you saw that film and the little starfish coming back on the beach. You save one at a time. And nothing has changed.
Nope.
As long as you make that connection. That's very good.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing this year. So last year was the Leadership Secrets of Santa Claus. Everything's really, so we had a lot of Santa theme all year long. So by the end they were like, okay, enough of Santa. But
You all set,
any
John?
questions?
Any questions for John before I move on?
Thank
And,
you.
and two, you can see the sizes. A lot of work was done, and a class was added at grade 1, because that's they're all important years, but you learn how to read a great deal in that year, and there are 15 in each class, and John and I spoke a bit, and we have a long range so that when the current 4th grade leaves, then it looks like there'll be about 45 kids. So the ultimate goal is to have grades 1 and 2 have that amount of class size, because there's like 45 kids in grade 5 that are going to move up, and subsequently in 2 years the grade 4s will go to 5 and then 6, and then our smaller, even if the 22 becomes 30, it still allows us that. So, all things being equal, it looks good. So we average out about 18.05 students.
Per classroom?
Yes.
Okay, which is good.
What skews it a little bit is a smaller third grade. The others without that one probably are about 20 or so. So that allows it to go from like 19 and a half or 20 down to the 18, right? Yeah. But it's a very good, it's very good, and the key thing is in 1st grade. And we're holding pretty much. In kindergarten this year we had 42. In 1st we have 45. In 6th grade we're going to lose 42, not lose, but they'll go on to 6th grade. So the likelihood we'll probably have in kindergarten, if the last 2 years hold true, we'll have about the same amount that are going from 5th up to 6th. So I think it's pretty consistent. And
It's always hard to tell for kindergarten too how many we're going to get. Last year the year before there were much smaller classes. We had like 14 or 15. That 3rd grade class actually was the smaller class. But there are 2 adults in the room at all time. We have a regular ed para in each room. One's regular part sped ed, special ed. So there are always 2 adults in that room, no matter what. Where the other classrooms, the adults in the room depend upon special ed services and needs and so forth. So this one, I'm okay with keeping 2 at kindergarten, because that's always the wild card.
Everybody else set?
Do you know what? You just brought something up. We just all got an email from the New Hampshire School Board Association with the reduction in Medicaid payment. Does anybody yet have an idea of how that's going to affect our schools and the services?
Well, right
Out of
now,
curiosity?
if you saw that, they have a workshop because they're figuring it out with the BAs. I talked to Nate about that.
Okay.
And the BAs are discussing it, the school board is discussing it, the superintendents are discussing
Okay.
it, the special ed coordinators are discussing it, and the court is out. It is, you know, if you look at the Medicaid, it's down a bit even last year, right, Nate? If you look at your expense, if you look at the report that Nate gave you, that's down a bit, and she does a fantastic job. So in answering your question, Peg, it is not fully ascertained at this point, and we're on it, and there's a board workshop that I sent to you in the last couple of days where
Yep.
you picked it up from, and you've probably gotten some in your retired staff stuff that has come out. Yes, Larry?
But is that going to be a proportionate reduction or level funded to exhaustion of the pool?
I don't think we know yet.
No.
I don't think so either.
It didn't really say anything in the
Is that-
email, just that,
That
Guess
makes-
what?
That makes a difference for how you proceed.
yep.
Yeah. Well, Larry, you've got yourself a committee. You and Nate and I and Rob Quire, a 4-man committee. And we're going to have you reading extensively. No, I'm just kidding.
I love how you did that.
I know.
All set?
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry, it was just.
Okay, moving on, page 78 and 79, that would be Jan.
Yep, some of the nice things at the start of the year, we had the new entrance door, it's almost completely enclosed now, so, it's working very well. New phones, the phone lines aren't turned on, but most of the phones are in place, so, teachers have already been able to call the office to let us know if a student is coming more confidentially than they did in the past, or to call guidance to say we have a student on the way, here's the issue. So they've already been able to do that. And there's some additional cameras which have been useful as well. So those were some great things that happened over the summer. We had 6th grade orientation on the 28th. All but 7 of the students were able to come with their parents. Gave them some information. We sent the kids off to follow their schedules while we talked to the parents some more. They got a chance to play with their lockers or take their locks home if they needed some practice. So that seemed it was a very good turnout for those students. Starting classes after Labor Day was very well received by the staff and the kids, and Paul's not here to tell them that, but most people seem very happy with classes starting after Labor Day. I did assemblies in the cafeteria this year instead of the gym, and that seemed to work really well with a more enclosed, quiet place than the gym was. Our teachers have been very happy with the skills setup, so the work that Jen put together, they were able to jump right in first day, and they were already working with the kids on the skills for both them. We started with the staff, we did some professional development on content literacy to talk about how we can work on literacy skills in any subject that we're working on. We reviewed some national standards and showed where the content literacy hits in all of our content areas. Worked in groups to identify some key teaching practices that we are doing and that they want to work on doing. So our focus for the year is we want to use effective instructional practices and interventions in order to elevate our performance. It's a long-winded thing to remember, so we talked about, people know, do your job, the quicker picker-upper, can't eat just one, things like that. So we're working on that more of a tagline for us that it's whether it's instruct to elevate or ramp it up or something like that. So we're working on that. We also did some Power School Pro training with the teachers. It's an upgrade that allows them to do some of the things in their grade books. So kind of walk them through how to set it up, create a category, do their grading, create an assignment, enter scores, that sort of thing. So they're more comfortable with that.
What was it? Power School Pro?
Power School Pro.
Thank you.
Instead of Power School Teacher Grade Book. So we all wore our Ram shirts on the first day, and if you notice in the back, even Earl made it into our picture there. So already Les Elders had it posted on the Milton homepage. It's on our website. We sent a story to Seacoast Online. One of our goals this year is really to make sure the community is aware of what we're doing in the schools. So committee updates, all of our teachers will be serving on at least one committee this year. First one is Moving Mountains. It's the leadership support team, professional development planning. We've already met. One person from every common planning time group is on that committee. Elevation Meditation, our student assistance team on the RTI. What else additional assistance they might need? The Don't Panic, which is our crisis team. It's not about the building, it's NEASC, because everybody I talk to keeps saying, good luck getting the building, and finally so we're just going to call it, it's not the building. Spin Doctors will be kind of our press release people. We'll be putting out newsletters and things, the press release. Pep Squad will be planning our assemblies and our pep rallies, and then Hug It Out will be our advisory committee. Most of those will be meeting on our fourth Tuesday meeting of the month, but some are meeting twice a month or on Mondays or Thursdays. Sports update, middle school soccer, she's got 16 or 17 players right now. They're practicing on Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. High school soccer, we're ranging 10 to 11. We've given ourselves until Friday to decide if we're going to have enough for a team. We really wanted 13 or 14, so the kids aren't running the entire game. But last night, only 4 kids showed up, so we're not being consistent. The athletic director met with all the students this morning just to talk about what their level of commitment is, and do they want to have a team this year. We're working with Farmington. They have a new athletic director there. We'll be putting a proposal together to merge programs for soccer for high school. We have enough for middle school. Middle school volleyball has about 17 players, so she's also split that into 2 squads, a varsity and a junior varsity. And high school has 14. She's also split hers into a junior varsity and a varsity. So those are good. A request that we have is, can we set up a Facebook page for sports? You can set it up so people cannot post comments to it. To have one place that all parents can go for game schedules, practice schedules, and changes. The big thing is changes, because every coach has been using a different system, so it's been difficult for parents, even if they have kids on different sports. How are they keeping up with practice was canceled today, or it was changed, and the game, the bus leaves at this time, kind of thing. So I know that we don't want comments being able to be posted to Facebook, but you can set up a page so it doesn't allow for any comments, it only allows for posts. So it's just
Twitter's available already.
pardon me?
Twitter's already accessible throughout the whole district. I don't know if that's how to say it.
The
Can be
request was
linked.
Facebook, not Twitter, so that's why I said the request that was made was for Facebook.
It's been very convenient having the Facebook to know when their buses are leaving, so we know as a parent where to be, what time to be. And then, okay, to give my child a ride home.
Do we need a motion to
For what?
Or Facebook.
approve a
Because you
Facebook
guys I know
page?
don't like Facebook, so that's why we don't have one right now.
I will make a motion for that purpose only, and
With no comments.
Now, what's
No
your
comments.
Facebook? What is your motion
To
exactly?
Set
Motion to
up
set
a
up
Facebook account
page,
for
a Newt
sports
Sports.
updates.
sports page on Facebook, with no ability to make any comments.
And that's just for sports?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Date. Sugar.
Sorry, Tammy. I knew what I was thinking.
Also, too,
Subject to administrative discretion.
Same discussion?
Yep.
Yes. we
What?
monitor
Subject to administrative discretion.
Larry just said it.
coaches, yes.
What's that?
Subject to administrative discretion.
Update.
Okay, so read that back to me. I want to make sure I'm clear.
What are we
Just
I
dealing
haven't
with
written it
sport.
all yet.
Okay.
Motion to set up a sports page
Mm.
update on Facebook with no comments
Allowed.
allowed.
Now, that's just for sports.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And then
I'll
Larry's.
revamp it a little, but with
Subject to administrative discretion.
Okay, we're all agreeing to that. I have no
to
problem.
admin discretion.
So we all set on that? Have to tell me when you're done, Tammy.
You go ahead.
Good. Okay,
With no comments.
okay, I say aye.
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 Well, you got it. Jan?
Melissa, Emily, Doug.
Jan, you have it.
Thank you.
You're on number 4?
Yes,
Go
our
ahead.
open house is tomorrow at 6 o'clock. PTA will be there at 5:30 to provide food to parents and students, barbecue out front. So please welcome. Please join us for that. We'll start it in the cafeteria for 15 minutes of just a general overview, and then parents will be going through their child's schedule, meeting their teachers, hearing about course expectations, syllabus, that sort of thing.
I have a question on the menu's going to be the same. The hamburgers, we're good.
Hamburgers, hot dogs, chips.
Very good.
And cookies.
Soda.
And
Or
cooking.
water.
Yeah, that was good.
Whatever it
Okay.
is.
Anybody else? Have anything else for Jan?
I am,
Well,
Good.
she's got
I
the,
got more things.
yeah,
She's got
she
number
has more
5.
things.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm
Okay.
trying to cut you
Yeah,
off.
one more, sorry.
Okay.
Thanks, you have to have these in so early. Thanks, Evelyn. November conferences. So those are 2 early release days, and last year we took the 6 hours to sign up parents for conferences. It averaged to less than or fewer than 2 families per teacher for 6 hours. So because there were many teachers who had no one come in, many who had 1, many who had 3.
Excuse me.
I had 1 that had 8 and 1 that had 13. But the majority of teachers had 3 or none. What we would like to do is let parents know if they want to come in the week before the teachers. I'll send an email out, we will schedule appointments so that they can come in and meet with the teachers, but otherwise we would like to use those 2 early release days for professional development.
Yes.
Need a motion from us, or you all set?
It's on the calendar as conferences. So.
I'll make a motion to, whatever you need to do, use them for professional development, perhaps with the caveat that if I happen to have parents who want to come in, then I should be meeting with them.
Right, and we were hoping that they could do those the week before, so
Okay,
that they're still
all right.
available for professional development.
Is that a contractual thing? Can we discuss it?
I will second that, but I want to be clear. What are those 2 dates?
It's the 24th and 25th.
Of
11:24, isn't,
And we have a calendar right in her little thingy
But
here.
yes, they could schedule it during those 6 hours.
11:24 and 11.
Oh, I second that.
Yes.
Motion.
Everybody
We just
clear?
feel
on
it would be better use of the
Who,
time.
who seconded
I did.
you?
I did. Are we all set on that one?
To
Everybody?
use-
Yeah, do we have a second?
Yeah, me.
Okay. I kind of want to say why I was really fast on okaying that. Because at the middle school, we noticed 6th grade parents, oh yeah, they were there. 7th grade, fewer. 8th grade, we might get 3 or 4 parents who come in. And
High school was
Yeah.
3,
yeah,
1 or 0.
yeah. So it's the younger kids whose parents are more concerned. By the time they get to high school, it's, so.
I'm always there, so.
Okay.
Well, there are some parents who are always there, and then
That's
there are
fair.
others that, I don't care.
Okay, I say yes.
Yes.
Yes,
There you go.
All right, 2 more things.
And
Oh, okay.
2 more.
2 more. I didn't put our numbers in there because they are changing every day. So as of this morning, we have 262 students. Going from 6 to 12, we have 42, 44, 38, 38, 38, 26, that's our small class, and 36. So
I saw him here.
it's a little bit less than the start of the year last year, but about the same as the end of the year last
We
year.
had, I think last year we had 277 and 277.
275 is where we started last year.
Or was it? I thought 277 and 270. That's right, go ahead. Sorry.
By the end of the year, it was, I want to say 268, but I don't
Okay,
know.
all right, go ahead.
We did graduate 39, and we had 5 finish through high set. So
Nice.
we lost 44 last year.
I said,
And the last thing, I don't need a motion on, just something to think about. The graduation, we were slightly over budget for graduation line, and with the default, we certainly trying to watch our costs this year. Wondering, we've never, not since I've been here, but not never, charged class dues. Is it, a discussion we've been having is should we be charging class dues of $25 to help offset the cost of caps and gowns and diplomas?
Is that, can I ask, is that normal at a school to do that?
I've been at schools where it was $40 or $50.
Anybody else have an opinion or?
I think it's reasonable, but maybe, and if this is allowed, with the caveat to see the office if that's a barrier
If there
for
was
you.
hardship, we would help.
Yeah.
Do you want a motion on that?
No, because I want to talk, we want to talk more about it, and I wanted you to be aware that's a discussion we're having as we look at the budget.
I don't have a problem with that as long as no child can,
Well, that's what
will
they
we
said.
refuse to have a cap and gown.
There will be no child that does not graduate because they can't pay for it. We would cover it.
And we can look at it as we go. This is just a point of information, but as time goes on, we can look at different ways also too. Sometimes there's funds left over within the class itself and that kind of thing.
Right now, my freshman and sophomore class have $0.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
Yeah. Come on.
it's gonna be tight overall. So that's just, again, we may not have to do that. We're really trying to watch the budget numbers, but it's just a discussion.
You all set?
I am also.
Earl, I know
Well,
you're biting at the bit. Go ahead.
to assist Jan within the athletic thing, because we've been keeping a close eye on a few things. First of all, which we're into the fall sports now. On the female end, it looks like, which is great. We have, did you talk about the JV, that there's a JV
We
team?
have varsity and JV on both high school and middle school volleyball.
So that is a healthy, very healthy. And I've gone in and I've looked at the numbers of kids and gone into both of them and been very impressed with the one that we just added, the coach that came back. The girls are really, look great. Now, as far as the boys JV is concerned, as far as the boys JV soccer, one of the things that, just to be fully aware in giving us the go-ahead, is we are having our athletic director and Jan and myself, we're trying to reach out to merge the boys soccer for next year with but we need to have that in by the end of the fall.
For the end of the soccer season, so really by the end of October.
So we're kind of getting them going. So the niceness of that is, like, if you look at it, and we talked today with the athletic director, there's 4 students on the football team, and they're all very good in sports. Now, if we weren't merged in football, they could be very important as far as the boys soccer team is concerned. So that's 4 students that are deferred from that team that we might have if we didn't merge the football. So what we're trying to do is be creative and put in something that can be sustained. So if we merge with them in JV soccer, with varsity, one of the things too is when you're trying to develop a program and get it going, and they go out and they can't compete, it discourages kids. So therefore, there's a far more likelihood in sustaining it, so that every year you're in 6th grade, 8th grade, whatever, you look up and say, well, there will be a team. So I think it's going to be important to merge with them, because if you look onward, they're running into the same thing. I think throughout the nation and all the states, sports participation is down each of the last 2 years. And teams that had football teams on their own and put kids out for college and even pro can't even field teams now. There are schools going to 8-man. So we need to get in front of this whole athletic thing. It isn't a phenomenon that is just happening in Newt. So we're looking ahead and we're taking it sport by sport, and most importantly, putting programs together in a creative way that can be sustained. That is the key. That is the key thing. So we're looking for board acknowledgement to go out and pursue the soccer being merged with them, okay? So do we need for you to approve that? That we're looking for
I don't think you need our approval just to get
just
the
an
information.
awareness that we're going to actually do it. I don't want, if it reaches, if we file it and goes through the state, I don't want you to be surprised to read a newspaper, oh, we're gonna merge our team. Oh, that's nice, we didn't know that.
Well, we're gonna know it now because minutes on the camera.
So you
Okay.
said, was it JV or varsity?
Well, it's JV this year, because we've been struggling to get a team together. We would merge it and make it a varsity team.
So, okay.
So it would be a merger for interscholastic boys soccer with Milton and
Farmington. Yep.
Farmington.
No,
We could look at merging girls too. So right now we have a co-ed team. So we would have girls together on a team, boys together on a team. Typically what happens is one school would have the boys team, one school would have the girls team. But that's something for us to look at.
that raises some question with me, because I know when we did football, there wasn't a charge, then there ended up being a charge. So we'll be looking at that in the,
Ideally, if each school has a team, they're responsible for the cost of just that team.
okay.
So we'd be responsible for uniforms and bus of whichever team we had, and they would be responsible for it for whichever team they had.
So basically, let's say hypothetically, we would house the boys here and they would house the girls there. But right now, the compelling thing is the boys team. Like Jan said, we're open to do the girls team as well. But right now, there's a strong team, like we said, we have 4 teams there, so I think that, the ideal thing, going back to what Doug said, it's kind of, there's a few points to this. Ideally, if we, like Jan was saying, we send our girls there, we house the boys here, so we have the thing, but firstly, we need to make sure we have a boys team for next year, right?
So just, I'm sorry.
Go ahead and then,
Just for clarification, so you can't like at the same simultaneously work on girls and boys. You have to do one at a time, or
No, we can do both.
okay. So
We can do them both.
So moving forward, you are going to be looking into both of them.
Yes,
Okay, good.
but the real need now, in terms of need, in terms of opportunity for boys, is we're concerned that we have a certain amount of boys, but we might not be able to field a team.
Right, but isn't that the same true of the girls too? Because it's a co-ed
Financially,
team.
Right, there are girls.
The financial
playing on-
aspect is, if we merge both now, like you said, we're only paying for one team.
Right.
And we're paying for a team now.
Right. So
So if we merge them, we would only be paying like either for a girls team or a boys team.
Correct.
So
Correct.
now we're paying for a
Yeah,
co-ed team.
Now we're
yeah,
paying-
yeah,
It's fine,
okay,
it's a wash.
yeah,
Wash.
yeah.
Okay.
And also, too, we're looking at allowing students from private school to play sports here, too. But that would involve them going to the NHIAA and getting the legitimization, the certification for them to participate in the NHIAA. And once they get that, then they could play any sport here. So that would assist us. It might be a baseball player, it might be a volleyball player, but that would not assure us to field a team. That would only be an add-on. That would only be a plus.
But they would be able, if we merged, the private school kids would still be able to, and also homeschool kids, would they still be able to?
Homeschool can do it now.
Oh, I know. I just
Yes,
mean
that
if we
would- that
merge
would be part of
everything.
the agreement, if it was a boy wanting to play soccer and the boy team was in Farmington, they'd be able to go to Farmington.
Yeah. So they would have full opportunities that all of the students here have.
I just wanted to comment on the numbers from this year from last year to this year with volleyball. How many girls have come out and
We
really
had 8 on high school last year.
and
We have
through the successful, engaging the students younger and encouraging them to play, we are able to now this year to have a lot more students come out and play. So based on the activities of the coaches going out there and really advocating for students to come out, I think it's wonderful. And that's why we can be successful if we continue to do that. Continue to go out and look for our students younger,
Yep.
5th grade, bring them up to play. They don't need any experience. And I think without that, it doesn't matter if we join with another town, if our coaches aren't going to go out and try to get students to play. So I want
Yeah.
to say thank you to all
Yeah.
the coaches for doing that.
Certainly, there's been the answer is in the results a lot of times, but it isn't speaking to the amount of time that people have put forth in trying to encourage students to be part of the teams. It's an easy thing to say. Somebody says, well, nobody is trying that hard because we're not having all these teams on the fields. But the fact of the matter is, they really are. So, I don't know if you want to speak to that.
Do you have a question?
No, I just wanted to say something, that's all. I volunteered to do the 8th grade PowerPoint photos for the end of the year for their 8th grade graduation, and I just wanted to put out there if any 8th grade students, parents have any pictures from 6th grade, 7th grade, please send them to me. Please?
You want to put that in the minutes, please?
Okay.
Okay. You all set, Earl?
So just acknowledgement that it's okay to bring on the
Yeah.
school,
Yes.
without saying their specific name, but put a private school within our school district.
He's also referring to the
Okay,
school.
It's
Acknowledge.
handbook. Any questions on the handbook? We're gonna have a motion and a second for it. I'll make
I
a
will make
motion.
a motion to
Okay.
approve the 2019-2020 student parent handbook.
I will second that.
All right.
We know it's correct because I think Peg proofread it.
She proofread it. She's given me things from the faculty one, but not this one.
What was that again, Jen?
Oh, from the, oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
How
boy.
you do your homework?
Well,
I know she did her homework.
Start reading.
no, I gave them to both of you,
I did have a question for
You
Jan.
only sent me the one. You said you'd look at the other one later.
and then I fell asleep.
There was miscommunication over the volleyball or basketball, whoever we got New Jerseys for last year.
Basketball.
Yes, we did.
Basketball. They weren't ordered?
Correct.
Okay, they're going to be ordered though.
Miscommunication about who was going to actually order
Okay.
them.
But they're going to be ordered.
I don't know.
Okay.
I will follow up on that, but I
Thank
don't know
you.
who they wanted to order them.
Okay.
Sorry, I got
All
a,
right, so let's try this one again. Sorry.
The other one, giving her the
Motion
wrong
to
changes.
approve.
Well, I gave her
Like, give her any
changes to the other one, but I mean, they're like
Just
I
so
know
7,000
that
pages
just sent
long.
to me, yeah.
I will make a motion that we approve this
Mm-hmm.
student
pending,
parent.
Receipt of Peg's changes.
yes,
The student parent handbook for 2019 and
Yes.
2020.
Receipts.
and I
I already
promise,
did it. I did.
I apologize.
Sorry. You gotta,
Peg, who seconded it?
I did. So we all set? But we're waiting for the staff one, is that what's going
Oh,
on?
you have stuff on that.
So we're all set
Yeah.
with that
Yeah.
one? Okay, aye.
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 All right. Now, Do we want to keep Jan and John?
No.
No.
Sorry, John and Jan.
I thought you guys would like to go home.
Thank you.
They've been working
They work
so
diligently
I won't be
hard.
insulted, I don't think.
They've been working
no.
so hard.
And these policies, they worked hard
Yeah.
in our other.
We just, the important one we want to keep is Nate. 'cause
You know what, may I,
folks have a
before
lot to
John
ask him.
leaves,
No.
Okay,
may I just say something?
what do you got, what are you holding up?
I enjoyed this listing of the positions, and then, because I'm looking at it going, what? Oh, and then I started, and it was all the backup, and I just put them all together, and it's like, okay,
Okay,
thank you.
But I'm gonna ask the board, instead of us going over these policies, that we, well, Bob needs to give a report. And I want Bob on the back to speak
Yes.
on the 7 under
Just go.
the CIP. I want Bob to talk about that also.
To hire, so
So,
The ones we talked about?
I can, are you staying for them?
Probably. They don't let me go home early.
So while Bob gives his report, I'll talk to her in the hall.
Okay.
did you want to give us a report of all the projects? What the evolution of them we had going on over the summer? And,
The security project?
well, yeah, everybody gonna know we've done them now. They've walked through the doors and saw the cameras and saw the phones. Let's go.
At the elementary school, we created a foyer by putting in glass in a new set of doors and secured that door as well too, so we control that door as well for people coming into the building. That's pretty well settled. I have a few odds and ends to do yet to finish that project up. But as far as the functionality, the main goal of what we were doing, that piece is completed.
Can I got one question on that project?
Yeah.
Any additional costs are still covered under the grant?
Yep.
Any of the things that we're doing, like to finish the inside office configuration, is all part of doing that project.
The grant, we're going to the grant money.
Yeah.
Now, do you have a design of what we're doing to that inside office yet? What's going to be
No,
done?
no, we're still kind of getting a feel of it. One of the personnel that works in there is on vacation, for last week into this week. So waiting for that person to return so we can finalize what we want to do in there.
Okay, go ahead, Bob. If somebody has any questions, go ahead.
I just want to say it looks really nice.
Okay.
Very, very different,
It is.
especially the elementary.
In a good way.
Yeah.
In a good, yes,
Yes,
very good
I'm
way.
sorry.
It's not like it sticks out ostentatiously. It really fits in.
Yeah. We
you put
did
it
a
in?
new internal set of doors that we control, and from the main office as well. And in doing that, then we're able to match the original design that went into the library many years ago. So that whole foyer all matches now. I still have, again, a few odds and ends, which includes one of which is the drop ceiling inside the door, finishing that. So I have a few things that I need to do to finish that up as well. But as far as the functionality and controlling it, all of that works. That's all in place.
Yes.
Now we've got the door fixed at the SAU then.
Do I?
The door is fixed at SAU now.
Yeah, the door works at the SAU.
Yeah, he had it propped open the other day. I'm like,
Oh, it's been propped open for
what the heck? What?
We had a,
the SAU door.
Yeah.
that lightning storm we had fried some parts.
Hope you don't annoy anybody who's not coming to see you.
What's that?
Hope you don't upset anybody. Can't lock
I don't
the
upset
door.
anyone. No.
I just
Except my
go
wife.
right in.
Yes.
I'm looking for this.
Yeah, so to get that to work again, we needed a company that works on that, one source, as well as Back Bay, our IT department, and to a lesser degree myself, just keeping track of things. But now that does work again.
Now the telephones?
Yeah, telephone project, if you'd asked me a week ago how much longer before we'd actually be able to go live with it, I would have said 2 weeks. But yet another whole week's gone by in my mind, keeping track of things as we continue to work on it, getting closer to that date, so we're still at least 2 weeks out as we speak now. Our IT department has helped us tremendously getting the phones actually connected inside, actually communicating with our new infrastructure for our phone system. So they've been invaluable getting that work done. As we speak now, I believe we just have 2 phones that we can't get online. And our new phone company will be in tomorrow, and we hope to sort that out then tomorrow afternoon. The IT department believes that it's probably just a loose connection on the wiring. Is probably where we sit at this point on that. So hopefully tomorrow we'll get that resolution and figure that out, and then know what direction to head for those 2 last phones. What remains out of that is detailing when somebody calls in from outside. If they call the main number for the elementary, or they dial the current main number for Newt, they'll get a menu to select from. And what that does is a helpful thing, because it helps then direct them to the right department, the person that's trying to locate somebody, where right now all of that stuff for the lion's share comes into the main office. So ultimately, once that gets up and running and the dust settles out on that, will help with the efficiency, certainly in the main office. All of the teaching staff they'll have a mailbox, so if somebody wanted to leave a voicemail for a teacher, they'll be able to do that. Teachers can follow up when they want to. They'll be able to, on site, be able to call into the phone system, or if they were home or wherever, they could call in and get their voicemails and check all of those. So it'll help, I think, in communication with the outside world, from the teaching staff to moms and dads and our grandparents that help, you know.
Okay,
I know I'm old.
Yep.
Don't
And
hold
you
it
wanted to
against
say
me.
that on the screen?
I will
wanted
say
to
it
tell
on
everybody?
Common
screen.
sense.
I am
Common
old.
knowledge, I mean.
I really have to say I absolutely hate those menus. And I have gotten to a point where the SAU,
Press 0.
nobody answers 0 either. I end up many times going directly to Sue Delisle, because I know she is 99% at her desk. Hi, Sue, I hate to bother you, but I've already tried.
No.
Blah, blah, blah. And she just laughs at me and she goes, okay, hold on.
But that's because we screen our calls. We don't answer when you call.
Yeah, Peg, everybody answers when I call.
I just text name.
Well, you know what? I mean, I've ended up emailing because, I mean, I know that they're not going to sit at their desks the whole time. And if you get the voicemail, and then you've got to hang up and redial, and then try another, press 1, or press 3, or press 45, and it's like, I'm sorry, I am old, but I like people.
But we don't want to pay for people.
Pay for a secretary, she's, you know.
but then if you did it the other way, you'd have to have a phone number for each desk.
You have to what?
You'd have to have a phone number for each desk. You wanted to reach them individually without going down through the menu.
Well,
Wouldn't be cost effective.
I do find it's kind of frustrating, because it just seems every time I get up, that's when someone calls. But that's what voicemail's for, so I can call you back.
Or not.
Or not.
Yeah.
Depending on the message.
Well, is there a way to have, or does it already come like where if you get sent to someone's voicemail, you can push a button and go back to the front desk, or no?
All right, we're not going to
No,
spend the
if
whole
you're in the
night.
voicemail,
No.
that'd be the end of the.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and
I
you've
have
got
to
to redial.
Oh.
Why do you have to redial?
Because
If I'm
you
in
get
my
back
car,
to
if
the
I'm in my
main
car, I
menu.
don't want to have to press a number. I get it. I do.
Makes sense.
But
I know.
not keep
I hate
pressing different.
So,
So the SAU does that?
Yeah. Except I do enjoy.
so are we,
We're done.
do you have anything else for us,
Couldn't you
Bob,
always,
on
if you hate
projects?
that, couldn't you just always go to the front desk?
Those are line share ones. I didn't know, did you want to
Yeah.
talk to CIP at all?
Oh, yeah, that's on. Now,
Okay.
I'm gonna ask the board's permission to move that up while Bob is here.
Yes,
Move
Okay.
what up?
CIP.
CIP, item 7B.
So what was, what number was Bob's then?
Bob was an add-on.
Add-on, Bob.
5E.
I was, just wanted to put it in
1 foot and
order.
8. 5E. You've all seen this chart before?
No.
I gave it to you before?
We did it last.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, the meeting.
I didn't realize that.
Okay.
Sorry.
I think what we need to find out here, I think we need to make some clear
Sugar.
where we want to go here. This is just a numbering system. We need to be clear, and I want Bob to speak up, on the engineering studies. They have got to be done first. 1 and 2. And if you don't do them, and these systems go down, what happens, Bob?
In the case of the fire alarm system, basically you'd be closing your doors if it happened in either one of the 2 buildings.
Say that good and loud, Bob.
Yep.
The
Pardon?
Loud.
fire alarm goes
Microphone.
down, the school will be closed.
And what will
Okay.
it cost this
I
time?
hope the budget committee's watching.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, I want to explain about the air handling, what's going on with that.
Yeah, air handler is on its last leg at Milton Elementary School on the first floor. And as a result of that, this time of year, at least we can open the windows, but as time goes on, we want to close them and be a little bit more efficient with our heat. We are only going to be running the air handler a little bit during the day just to flush the air. So it is something that's required to obviously have the fresh air into the building, and we definitely need to replace it. The engineering design that was recommended was to put in a large air handler that has the capacity to do the first floor air handling, and then in an add-on project or at the same time do the duct work to get up to the second floor, so we actually can replace the second floor as well too. So all of the largest part of the cost ends up being in the first project, which is to replace the first floor air handler.
Now, these 2 figures you have for the engineering study are pretty good or solid, or,
The fire alarm engineering design is just a guess at this point in time, because we'd have to go out to get bids on that, to lock that in. And the one for the air handler, we had gotten from for one company, so that number is pretty close.
now, we cannot take, reiterate, we cannot take those first 2 out of that renovation fund. We're not allowed to. So, what does the board want to do? We'll have to firm those figures up. Do they want to make those 2 separate warrant articles?
So, quick question. So the cost for the air handler, a total is $213,772. That,
Can we stick to the design?
but I'm saying, that includes the design,
We haven't done a design yet, that's an estimate.
estimate,
We have to
okay.
just do one.
We gotta do the engineering studies first before we get a solid figure for actually what we're putting in. Okay? So, I wanna know what we wanna do with it. We gotta do those engineering studies before we can get those other 2 figures of 150 and 161 and 27,746. Aren't those just rough estimates on your part?
They are.
Does that answer your question, Melissa?
It
Because
does.
they've aged a little bit too since we first started looking
Right.
at these 2 projects too, so that all
I don't
comes
think we
into
can
play.
wait till 2023, I don't think we can wait till 2023 and 2024 to replace these.
I'm not asking us to,
That's something I think we need to
I
go forward.
agree with you. I really do. That's why I think we gotta get it. How long would it take us to get these 2 engineering estimates?
Oh, I don't know what the timeline would be. It depends on, who we select and how much of our workload they have.
We have to go out for at least 3 estimates, wouldn't we? What's that? 3 estimates?
Yeah,
Three bids, yeah.
3 bids.
So can we get this all done by the time, for March? Put it on warrant articles?
Well, I'd like to say that the one for the engineering in order to go out to bid on that, you actually need to have some specifications, so,
Which one is that one, Bob? I'm sorry.
Fire
the first one.
Fire alarm.
Fire alarm.
Yeah, fire alarm. So, it's difficult to move that forward without selecting a company to actually help start flushing that out, because otherwise you end up, even on the design side, you're gonna get apples and oranges and be all confused over what you're gonna be covered.
So what do we need to do
So
first?
on the second one, if I could just briefly jump ahead on that.
Go ahead.
I did work with one engineering company to be able to nail down what they felt it would cost to do the design.
For the air handler.
Or for the A-handler, correct, and then for the implementation of the A-handler, you know, we did that, so at least then we've got some concrete information having made that first pass. So you'd have to spend some money to really flesh out what the total engineering cost would end up being to actually have construction prints.
Before we do the design?
It's part of doing the design. I can't call up 3 companies and ask them to come in and just do a walkthrough and then come back and have them work some magic out of that, because there's no spec. There's nothing to start from.
But how
other
did you
than
get
to
the
say,
first quote?
we need to replace the whole thing. You know, because what we have to do is, it's each of the main controllers, the computers, one in each of the schools, and then it's all of the devices. It's all the smoke detectors, heat detectors, pull stations, all of that. And when somebody gets in and does all of that too, then is it the wiring that comes into play? So I mean, all of that's got to really be scoped to move the thing forward. Otherwise, I don't know how 3 companies would come back and help us through what direction to go.
So go ahead, Peg.
Well, what I'm hearing you say is that the air handler design, that's a pretty solid quote, that you got something from one company.
Yes.
What did you give that company that
We
they could
spent-
come up with that figure? And why could you not use what you gave them for 2 more companies and say, okay, this is basically what we gave company A, company B, what do you think, company C, what do you think, and get, I mean, if you got something from somebody,
It
you had to
wasn't-
give them something, right?
We got a proposal.
Right.
Walked us through phases and how much each of those would cost, and we paid for those to get to the point of knowing what the design cost would be, and then what the 2
Do you still have those phases?
I think you gave them to us, didn't you?
Yeah.
On the air handler you
We just
did.
need to do
Yeah.
that now.
We
did.
need to do that same thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm glad you're asking the question that way. We did this for the E-handle, we need to do that process for the fire alarms.
Okay, but
Yeah.
I'm just sticking to the air handler at this
Sure.
point. You've already done it, you've already got, phase 1, 2, 63.
Mhm.
Do you have the information for phase 1, 2 through 63 from this first company that you can give to company B?
No, they're 2 different things.
An air handler is an
One
air.
is designing a rocket ship, and the other one's designing a cruise boat.
We're talking about an air handler. Is there a difference in air handlers?
I think she's
No, I
talking.
misunderstood the
Yeah,
question
she's-
then.
I'm just saying, let's stick with the air
Air handler.
handler. You said earlier that this 25.2 is a good quote for the design,
Right.
and that you couldn't really go out to any other companies because blah, blah, blah. But then you proceeded to say, we got the quote because we had this, phase 1, phase 2, somebody actually went through and said, okay, we can design it for $25,200 and we can replace everything for $161,000. Why could you not take the information that you got to come up with those 2 figures and give it to company B and company C and say, okay, B and C, can you please give us quotes for the design and replacement?
On the air handler.
For the air handler only, that's all I'm talking about is the air handler.
You could, if you wanna spend more money,
Why do we have to spend more money if we already have paper?
because we don't have any, it's not a depth, it's not a 40-page document that has all kinds of details. It exists in the company that did the review
What they think.
to get to the number.
Okay, so they kept
There's
all
no-
of their specs, they kept all of their information because they didn't want you to be able to go to company B and company C.
No, it's because we partnered with them to give us that. That was what we did, step by step.
Did we pay them?
Yes.
What did we
Okay,
pay
so-
them? Much?
I
You
don't
know?
remember now, I don't
I
have
don't
that
remember either.
with me.
It was a while ago.
Bob, but are these,
That's why I invited in a fire alarm design company to expose you to one company, knowing that at some point in time, we would have to follow a similar path that we did with the air handler.
So what you're saying is, and I'm pretty sure I got this, and I want to make sure.
Sure.
Every company, because this is such an involved, this isn't, oh, call us so and so, get a free estimate. We have to pay for them to come in, each company to come in and do an in-depth review of the building
Yes.
to write up their proposal.
Right, which is very expensive. It's not somebody coming over to your house and say, I want to add on the great room. It's not like that.
Because of
They
so
would have to spend a lot of engineering time, multiple engineering types potentially, in order to put those numbers together.
can I ask a question? So that would be above and beyond the design of the system? On number 2 on the air handler? Would that be
The air
included?
handler were already down the pike. We decided to go on a path to get us to the numbers so we have a good idea of what, so we know.
No, I understand what you're saying. So that means
we've already
we're
paid.
gonna have to go in and design the air handle and pay the $200 on top of what we've already paid for having those people to come in, is that right?
In order to have prints, construction drawings, that we can go out to get multiple bids on.
Okay, so we're only paying, I get it, what you're saying. We're
I'm
paying,
still not buying it, but that's
we're
all
paying
right.
we're paying the $25,000 for them to come in and design, having an engineer come in and design it. Once we have our designs, we can show those designs to companies and say, who can bid on this?
Yeah.
For the installation.
Yeah, so
Yes.
the whole, so the other $200,000 to round it up is what we'll get multiple bids on.
Yes, so we're only paying for one engineering study.
Okay, but our question still is, in order for us to get a bid or to approve a bid, we have, and it's over $500, or whatever it is, 5,000, we have to have 3 bids from companies before we can do anything.
No, you do not.
Larry
It
has
is.
one.
No, I'll do that.
This needs to be designed first, correct?
Wait a minute, Larry.
Create a
Larry
bid
wants
package.
to.
Wait. The board have any more questions? Larry?
Okay, I think what Bob is moving toward is what I learned as you get either three bids, or the municipal entity has the power for good cause shown to deal with a single supplier for reasons A, B, and C. And that would be the justification, because without that, you have no way to get your apple compared to your apple. And if I may jump from that, just for that, I will be back on the budget committee about 9:01 a.m. Saturday. I'm presently an alternate to the planning board, and have been on the CIP and the planning board and the budget. So that's the background. Plus, I like to have the school district succeed. I talked to Bruce about how to do the big ticket items and how to get that tax load from warrants on a basically level basis for 1 or 2 years out. And Bruce was kind enough to run those big ticket numbers two ways. The way you have presented your warrants for 20, beginning with the bids through the big ticket purchases up to 2023. And if you throw the pickup truck out of it, the numbers for the 4 years work out the same. What Bruce did is split the fire alarm and the air handler into two packages, put them as a capital reserve fund, spread them over 2 years. So the school district, if you want to write these down, the school district from 2020 to 2023 goes 75,000, 190,000, 161,000, and 28,000. What that's assigned to is unimportant. The CIP goes 185,000, 193,000, 97,000, and 15,000. There's a $50,000 difference over the end of the 4 years. What Bruce and I talked about is what Bob is getting to, that if you don't have the design for both the alarm system and the air handling system, you don't have a basis to create your
Well, that's where we're
business.
trying to go, Larry.
Yeah, I'm just,
Yeah.
from the peanut.
But we're not, I think we're having some confusion about, we said we've already paid for the air handler a certain amount, but then I'm understanding that we're gonna have to spend another $25,200, is that correct?
It's always been that way. It was clearly defined in the phases.
Well, it may have been, but I just want
Yeah,
to be
no,
clear
I'm
about
saying
that.
that's what we have.
Go ahead.
Me?
Yes.
So what I understand Bob is saying, so I just want to make sure,
Yeah.
is that we've already done what we need to do to know that 25,000 is a reasonable estimate for the design.
Yes.
And we don't have to, we're not required to get 3 bids
No.
to have that question answered.
Correct.
We're only required to have 3 bids when we actually fix the air handler.
No.
No.
It's still clearly your decision.
Oh, okay. So
You
never
may
mind
have
that.
reason not to.
So what you're saying is it's the fire alarm that we don't know if that 50,000 is a
It's a
good.
pie in the right. It's
Okay. So we
One
need
of
to
those
do
kind
what
of
we did
things.
for the air handler. We don't need to worry
Correct.
about bids, and we don't need to worry about paying 3 people. We just need to pay somebody
yeah.
To draw the
to,
plans.
no, not to draw the plan, to tell us how much the plan is going to cost to draw.
Right.
Well, then we need the design. Now, the design we need. So
25.
it's both.
Right. But before we know if this number's good, but we know the other number is pretty good
The 25.
because we've done
yeah.
that work.
Yes.
So we're gonna have 3 separate charges on the fire alarm. Is that right?
The engineering.
sounds
Plan
like,
for the
yeah.
plan, the plan,
The design.
Another plan.
and the alarm.
Now, what's
Yes?
The engineering to design the plan, and then the
Now, what's
implementation.
what's the first figure gonna be for the fire alarm? We gotta get that done as soon as possible.
I recommend then that we go back to look at, and if you, I would say through the facilities team, look at what was recommended for the company at that point in time to actually get a phase process then from them. So we know what that first, what those costs would be to actually do an assessment of both buildings
On the fire alarm.
on the fire. Right. So select one company to do that, then you can move that forward and get to the goal that you want to have, which is how much then do we need to spend on, getting documents, prints, to actually go up to bid with.
But we don't know
And
what
you
that
get
is.
an estimate out of that too, of what the construction cost would be for each building.
But you don't have an estimate of what that initial cost is gonna be yet.
Right.
So what's
Oh.
the, now is the facility committee gonna meet the end of the month, Earl?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
they
we're gonna
just
meet with
switched.
the, planning board on next Tuesday, so,
Right.
so. Go ahead.
So the facility committee will work on how much it's going to cost to tell us how much we'll contact companies to see how much
We
is,
will,
Engineering study.
Doing an assessment.
we will work on the process to recommend
right.
one engineering company. Okay, and then we can then, with board approval, call our company and find out how much it would cost for them to do that. So they might say it could be a two-phase thing, so they needed X amount of dollars for initial investigation, followed by more dollars for more detail once that discovery's made, because phase 2 would be a range. So
Okay.
you could go through 2 phases to get to the point of knowing what the design would cost.
So the facility,
And an estimate of what each building's construction cost would be.
So right now on that chart that we numbered, that's phase 2.
The 50?
No, yeah, the 50 is phase 2
Yeah, the 50.
on the fire alarm.
The 50 was my estimate of what all of those pieces would be. The investigative part, if it was broken into 2 phases, and the design.
So can we get that phase 1 going by the next meeting? To the facilities and then to the school board? Because we're gonna have,
Pick the company, yes.
what's that again?
If I picked the company, we could do that.
But didn't you just say we had to go through the facilities
I
to do
did.
that?
What's the liking of the board? Because I don't think we can put this off another year. We need to be prepared.
I
Yeah.
think we need to do whatever it needs to do
Could
to
they-
get it done now.
Go ahead.
if it needs to go through facility committee, could they not call a special meeting like we call special meetings for policy and just,
Well, it depends on when he comes back.
We
Paul.
all, we as a
Right.
board all could meet and cut that step out.
mm-hmm.
It's our final decision anyway.
Can we cut it out now?
Well,
No, I meant, do you have somebody in particular that you're considering? Okay.
And that company has been presented to the facilities?
They went to facility, did they come to the whole board or just
It
facility?
was just facilities.
Just facilities,
that's
yes.
So we've already done that then,
Right.
for the alarm.
Yes.
so,
Is that for
Can we
both
prove it?
schools, did you say? Both schools?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
and-
both schools, just a little bit of the detail and why we can break them into 2 phases, as Larry had played out, that Bruce had helped us with. So he just did some imagineering and just split the numbers in half, I'm sure, okay? But anyway, the reason we can do that is because the alarm system at the elementary school and at the high school are identical. The main control boards are identical. All the components in the 2 buildings that are heat detectors, smoke detectors, pull stations are identical. So we can do 1 building first, save all those parts to get us through that next year on the other building, and then do the second building.
But I want to be clear.
Yep.
You said they've already come into us to the facilities. And why didn't we send it to the board to be discussed? I don't understand that.
I don't know.
Then,
Did we have other things we needed to do or something like that?
I don't know.
But you also said, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Emily.
so is that what we're proposing? Since you have a company in mind, it went to the facilities committee, can we tonight, as a board, vote on whether or not you can go forward and
I think you have to ask
do
each
phase
other.
1?
No,
I mean,
I have
so-
no problem with that.
I have no problem with that. I mean, it seems like waste
So I make a
time to-
motion to go forward with the
Bob's recommendation.
Bob's recommendation, who has already presented to facilities.
Second.
Do we have any more discussion on the fire alarm,
What?
phase 1 for the fire alarm?
Peg?
Where are we gonna get the money?
We're gonna find out how much it is first.
Right, it's just asking them,
He's gonna now find out from them how much
getting a
it's gonna be.
number, correct, for phase 1?
Yes.
Okay,
All right,
Taking the
get a
very
number.
first step.
so they'll still come back.
Okay, then,
Aye.
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 Now, the company that's coming in, can we know that now?
If I had remembered.
That was a while ago.
So I'm not hiding it, it was a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I
And it was recommended by Harriman Group, who's dealt with
I
the
think I
company
vaguely
before,
remember, yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I think I got it at home.
Not to add further confusion, but
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Well-
for the air handler, if they did a preliminary design some time ago, as of Sunday, this coming Sunday, we have a new building code in the state of New Hampshire. So it's possible that they will need to do some redesign of what has already been done.
Yes, I mean, it's,
Code.
yeah, it's the
Thanks,
concept.
Jerry.
Let's get it done now.
Just throwing it
That
out
big
there that
gray
might be a
cloud
concept.
above him.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bob, then I'll go to Bob.
No, and that's the issue too with delaying projects, because when I built the CIP, the numbers that are in this spreadsheet now
Yeah.
with the priority list on it, I ended up having to nudge all of the numbers that I have, because every time we delay, then I'm picking up the phone and asking, okay, how much, like he just brought up, are we bumping 5% this year, 7%? And I'm bumping it. So every time I go back to the page and have to nudge a project, I'm not going all the way back to square one and bug somebody again. I'm just taking that original number and I'm gonna multiply it every year until you say yay or it falls off the page.
So they'll be in at the next meeting. We'll find out what the dollar.
Yeah, I'll ask them if they can.
Now, are we gonna have to do a for the air handler? Go back to them and ask them to, there's been changes
No,
made
they-
in the,
No, they have not done, they haven't committed to the point of doing the actual design.
okay,
Like
so
you
we're,
said,
so we're okay there.
right. The issue ends up being is, when each time we adopt new codes, we're at risk of change.
Yeah.
That number can change. And it's the same thing like when we built the middle school addition. Okay, we all sat in the room and understood that that design then could roll forward and we could put a second floor on the middle school if we ever needed it someday. Well, since that point in time, New Hampshire did adopt new codes. So the original, so the structure of that building is built, given to us in 2006, when we occupied it, may or may not support a second floor without some additional structural work on that first floor. We don't know. So when you wait, that's what happens, because everything keeps changing.
Stop changing things.
Okay, all right. Larry?
Yeah, the, from what I think I understand of the CIP committee, I remember particularly the review that Bob did of the justification for your own snow handling system because of the incredible valet that was involved in clearing this lot so you can work on that lot, so you can go back and fill this lot and clear the third lot. The police department cruiser number 1, is 6 years old. It has 100,000 miles on it, and it has 4,000 idler hours. 1 idle hour equals 33 miles. And if you can pull that kind of detail, the air handler system has failed. It will not meet indoor air quality after this date. The fire alarm system is X years old and requires this to be updated for the health and safety of the students with a number crunched in. I think that would solve the problems that you are accounting from the CIP committee. And because if you go and read the police department summaries, they kill you with detail. But you can't argue once the detail is in place.
Thank you, Larry.
That's it.
Now, does anybody, so we're gonna proceed with this on the fire alarm. We're okay on phase 1 on the air handler,
Yep.
okay?
Right.
Okay, now we're gonna do phase 1 on the alarm system. Now, the other thing I wanna discuss is I wanna get this done too. I don't know if it's gonna be jumping the gun, about the pickup truck and the one-ton truck. I talked to Pat Smith, said the best thing we can do on that is to start a capital reserve fund, and you could make it a 10-year plan like he does for his trucks. I don't know if it's 10 or 6. I don't know, Larry, at the top of my head.
CIP would be CIP is 6 with 5 purchase years and 1 planning year.
Well, what we want to do is
You can set up the capital reserve for any amount of time you want.
Bob?
Right, because you keep track of what your purchase price is going to be.
Yeah.
And you break it down by however many years you want to put money aside
Yeah.
to get to that price.
So I was,
So you have to know future costs or estimated future costs.
well, we have that in your chart here. The
Yeah.
the one ton is 50,000 and the other truck is 40, so that'd be 90. And I was hoping the board would start the capital reserve fund and put $10,000 a year in that capital reserve fund this year. It's up to the board. That's how Pat said he would do it. 'Cause that's how they do their trucks.
Do we have money to can we put more?
I think we'd be perfectly fine, because if you do 10 years, you're gonna have an extra 10,000. You can change it at any time. You can the following year, you can change the plan. Peg?
We don't have that trust fund set up yet.
No, we need to put it to capital, start a
What
capital.
did we, I'm trying to think, what did we put in this past year that was shot down?
Special ed.
No, it was, well, all of them were.
Take your pick.
This was a new
That
trust
was-
fund.
That was, no, it was to change the wording for the buses.
I'm sorry, it was what, wording for the
I think we were
buses?
supposed to change something on the buses.
Yeah,
That
it
was a
was,
couple years ago.
Yeah.
but I thought we wanted to put, all vehicles. Like,
Yeah.
it was
The
buses
wording was
and
supposed to get
trucks.
changed, but it didn't pass.
Okay, all right. I just remembered something about
Mhm.
buses and
Yeah.
vehicles. I guess my question is, the plow truck that we got from the town might make it through this year. And then what do we do?
Yeah.
See, that presents another problem to us. I think what we're gonna have to do, and I don't wanna say it, but I think we're gonna have to buy a brand-new plow truck up front this coming year, the 40,000, and then start the capital reserve fund. Then we'll be all prepared for the years down.
Yeah.
Because that one truck, that one-ton truck, how old is that, Bob?
Yeah, so that's what, 09, so, I mean, that's,
10 years
10
old?
Years old, yeah.
So that would be the first thing, if we start that capital reserve fund and set that money aside in 5 years, that could be the first vehicle that would replace,
out of that.
because it would be 15 years old and it would definitely be ready. Then after the next 5 years, you'd go back and replace the truck. If we replaced it on a warrant article, that would be 10 years old. And that would be the way to do it.
So
Go ahead.
if the plow truck does not make it through the winter, and we have a lot of snow,
We just got to tell the people that.
so that means a special election, right? Because we would have no money to have it done, right?
Correct.
So that would cost the town a minimum of $10,000 for the special election,
I don't know how
correct?
much it is. I don't think it's
About that. All
I
right.
don't know.
So we can pray and hope and every other dance we want to do that this truck gets us through the winter. But the fact is, it may not, right?
Correct.
So like
I just wanted that cleared for the voters who voted to not have us have a truck this year.
and we had money this last year to buy that truck too.
We did, and it would
It
not
wouldn't
have cost a
affect the
tax
tax rate
increase.
at all.
So I want that clear, that we may not have proper plowing if this truck doesn't make it through this year, right?
That's true.
Thank you.
Yeah, we could.
I just want people to understand the facts.
So my question to the board, and I know what the board wants to do, I think we're gonna have to have a warrant article to buy a brand new truck this year for the pickup of the plow, because we're unsure what the lifespan is gonna be on that one we got now. And I think we need to start a capital reserve fund to put $10,000 in it over a 10-year span. That'll give us 100,000, 10 years, and we could buy these two trucks, 5 and 5. Whatever the board wants to do, and that's my personal opinion.
I will make
And I
a
just want the
motion
people
do
to
that.
realize,
We're doing exactly what they wanted.
if they don't want to do it, don't come to me and yell at me, you don't have a plow truck.
I agree. So, your motion?
I made a motion to.
What is it?
Whatever you wanted to say.
Well, I want to have a warrant article,
For the 50,000, no, for the
yeah, you're right, no,
40,000 for the pickup,
to buy a pickup.
and then a
No,
warrant
let's do each
article.
one separate.
No.
Okay, all right. So,
Motion.
warrant article for $40,000 to purchase a new,
Up to 40,000.
up to.
Is that a good figure, Bob?
I thought, are you
Yeah.
sure?
Pat Smith, yeah, with the,
$40,000.
that's with the safety package on it and the plow.
Okay.
Up to 40,000 for a new pickup truck slash snowplow.
Do I have a
You
second?
positive?
Right.
Are you, for some reason, 48's popping in my head, so.
No,
I'll just
no,
wanna do-
40 was what we
Okay.
asked you.
I second.
When Emily finally woke up. So I didn't,
Motion
Thrilling
to
Pickup trucks are.
good discussion.
warrant article to
When we
buy.
replace vehicles, we go through Pat Smith, because we're actually using the town's bid, because it's already bid by the state when you go out and buy this equipment. So it isn't like you and I going down to the Ford dealer or the Chevy dealer or whatever. We already have a state bid price. That's,
Okay.
the state's already handled that. So then we have one or two places that are near us that we can get a truck from.
Okay,
Tammy, did you get that?
Motion to what in a warrant article?
All right, just,
Buy.
Buy a warrant article?
no, a motion
A motion
to
for a warrant article.
set
to
up
buy.
a warrant article to purchase, up to $40,000 to purchase a new pickup truck,
And Sandra?
snowplow.
No, this would be with plow and
Okay.
safety.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, did you get that,
Plow
Tim?
and what, safety what?
Yeah,
No.
you know, the safety package, they're
Thank
just
you.
plow, so you have the emergency light on it.
So that means we're putting in a warrant article for a plow truck for $40,000. Any more discussion? Aye.
I
Aye.
Aye.
So that's done. Now, the next thing we need to do is form a capital reserve fund for maintenance vehicles
Right.
and to put $10,000 each year into that fund, and that it will be over a period of, do I need that, Larry, for 10 years?
I think the New Hampshire main bridges will be an inheritance for your grandchildren by the time that ever gets funded. You can set whatever terms you want on it for.
What do you mean by that first statement? You lost me, Larry.
He's being a wise guy.
Oh, no, it's
It was
okay.
a Larryism.
I have no patience with the townhouse bridge account. Put it in for 10 years.
That's what I'm wondering.
Then you will have your $100,000. You don't know what the texture of the administration will be, what other grant sources may come available, and it might you might want to include the idea of purchasing a used vehicle through the state bid process over on White Road. Yeah, through state bid, so that if a truck was turned in, for example, with 11,000 miles on it, it was no longer new, but it had only 11,000 miles on it, represented an extreme discount, you would still be able to purchase it.
Oh, I see.
Well, we can do anything we want. Like, another thing we should have the agents to expel this money. Should have been on the other one, the school board. I left that out, I'm sorry.
Mm.
On both of those.
Well, I'll make sure that's in the language before it goes to the
But
ballot.
I'm gonna add that to my motion.
Motion to what?
Just add a capital reserve fund for maintenance vehicles and to put $10,000 in it each year, and that the school board be the agents to expend the money.
I'll second that.
Hold
Wait.
on.
We'll let her get it. I think the reason I'm pushing this, I wish Paul was here. I think we gotta get this done for Tuesday, so we have a clear action where we're going. And that's why I've done it tonight. So there's no question. When we go into them, we're gonna say this is what we've done, this is what needs to be done. There's no questions about it. Okay, we all set?
Yep.
Aye.
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 Okay. All right.
So the other one we need to add,
Yeah.
the school board to be the
Agent
agents
to expend money.
To expend, no, I spend it. Got it. To expend the money.
You should have to bring that to next time.
Okay, it's all that I have on this chart. I know we had some other jobs that but we're not ready to deal with them. The culvert,
Right. Damon House, the exterior of the
yeah, Damon House. Then the
And
paving.
And the porch
Paving.
stairs, yeah.
What porch
Whole
stairs?
exterior. The whole
Damon House.
exterior of the Damon.
Oh,
Oh, that's something new that's been added, okay. As long as I know, I don't care.
My patio at home. That needs
I
to
know,
be-
right?
We have a nice wood shop.
Then,
I've seen trees that need to come down.
Okay.
And then pavement,
Yeah.
we really need to have a site plan to understand how to replace existing, maintain it.
Now, I'm gonna ask this question, and don't take it wrong. Is that gonna require 3 phases or just 2 phases?
What?
Paving.
It's getting punchy.
No, I didn't realize about the 3rd phase on these other
Sorry.
projects.
Quite seriously for that,
Okay, go ahead, Bob.
Again, this ends up being crazy because of decisions that were made in the past. When we did the middle school addition, we had the short strip right beside Old New, okay, or 1890 building that connected to the that connects to the front parking lot. And the decision was made not to pave that when we had all the right people here. So since then, that has, spider webbed, and then last winter, where we got bombarded with so many freezes and thawing, it just totally blew apart. So, what condition is that in right now? Now it's exposed, you can't just simply cap it or seal it or whatever. I mean, it probably should be reviewed. It might need to be, remove some material, bring in more material, compact it. And then if you're gonna compact it, do you use the spec for any road that you would build in town? Probably. So when you start looking at those and you end up losing pieces, they start coming apart on you. Do you wanna just throw pavement on it? Probably not. And the horseshoe drive down by the kindergarten, I'll go on just briefly. What ended up happening on that is some corners were seriously cut way back in the day. Because many years ago, when I needed to do the excavation for the modular and get the modular hooked up, which included water and sewer, right? When we ended up going through that parking lot, we ended up running into tree stumps underneath that gravel that got buried in there when they built the kindergarten. So that's why that whole kindergarten looks all coming apart. That whole thing now, if it had been capped, a couple, 5 years ago, might have been saved. But now it's a rip out, and you got to take X amount of material out. I don't know what that is.
But we gotta do the
In order
culvert.
to rebuild it and compact it again, or it's just going to keep coming apart.
Well, we're gonna have to do the culvert first, though. Right?
Culvert first, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Is
Oh,
that,
Melissa, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to ask you, is that something that Public Works can come over and tell us what we need in order to do it?
No.
No? I'm just trying to save money.
Now, before it come apart, just the kindergarten, just the horseshoe alone there, I think it was like in the 12K range, which would have just been repaving. But having the experience and knowing how mushy things got underneath there, say somebody else might have said, oh, come in and take it down 1 foot, compact gravel, X, so many PSI. Now, knowing how messed up that whole thing is, maybe we gotta dig 3 feet out of it. I don't know what somebody might say in order to make it hold together. Fast forward, down into the future. I don't know. So if you're looking at somebody to come in and to give us a plan for recovery, versus capping and stuff, I mean, it's multifaceted because of the way the campus is.
Well, okay, I'm just thinking about the future, and that's why I'm bringing all this stuff up.
There's a lot to it.
And I'm not asking the board to start a capital reserve fund or put money in it for paving. I'm just everybody be aware, this is what's coming down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Peg?
Does the town own the culverts? And are all of the problems, not just the problem, but are all of the problems with that area because there's something wrong with the culvert that...
No.
was put in by the town, and the water is running down from the road. That's not
Yeah, the
Silver
culvert
State.
was put in way back when, whenever the kindergarten was put in, so, I mean, it's got some age on it for sure.
But who owns it?
And
But I'm just thinking, because
According
it's
to the
blocked,
path,
and
the
looking
road-
at it, the water seems to be coming down the road,
Let 'em in.
yeah,
which they own the road, we don't.
No, there's a ditch there on our property that borders that parking lot.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Well, because the road
the
wasn't
grass
done properly.
covers it. If you go down in that grass, you'll
Right.
find it.
It's the town's problem.
It's the town's fault because they didn't do the road properly.
No, it's,
I like that idea.
Earl,
Okay,
All those in favor?
if you can't see this, I want everybody to know, I've never seen anybody on a school board work so many hours in terms of the buildings and grounds, putting in the phones, brush, everything else. And I'll tell you one thing, I hope people are listening closely. Doug Shute watches every cost, every dime that goes through here. And if he's saying, he'll call me 7 o'clock in the morning, weekends,
Wake him up.
anytime. He is so passionate and so knowledgeable, and he puts in the time. I mean, he cleans brush
I found
in
the brush.
100-degree heat. So I'm telling people right now, if there's one thing I can tell them when it comes to buildings and grounds, and giving them the heads up straight on what needs to be spent, because even when we're getting the money 80% from the state, Doug is constantly saying, well, I don't know about this one, I don't know about that one, I don't know about this one. If he's going to spend it on buildings and grounds, people in this community better hear what he's saying, because he cares and he works and he knows what he's saying.
but I only want to say, I'm only handling one aspect of this, whatever you want to call it, school. But I have other people that are working hard too, and I'm not going to take away from them. 'Cause I know they're putting in time, I know they're calling the attorneys, I know they're doing this, I know they're bringing in flowers.
We're not cutting down the, we're not cutting down brush though, that's above and beyond.
No, I'm fine with it, I like doing that. Do it. So,
I'll bring them down.
you're all in this
Trash on the
together.
side of the road, have you seen
Yep.
it?
All right, that's
But
it.
this one part of it,
Yes.
I think the community needs to listen to what you're saying. And when Paul Steer is here, he assuredly is fantastic. So everybody, we all have a role, and you all do a phenomenal job. But
You
this
do.
is what we're
Thank you.
talking about now, and people better listen.
I
Bob,
thank
well done.
everybody for tonight, because I think we accomplished a lot. It put us in a direction that we need to go. Thank you very much.
Is Bob all done, that he can,
Well, if you're all done with him, we can send him home.
I'm done with him, you wanna go home?
Do you have anything else for us, Bob?
I meant, do you wanna
I do
leave?
have a nomination for non-public,
Okay.
and I
I
believe.
yeah, I can
Earl
handle it.
Square on that, yeah, thank you.
So we won't keep you, Bob.
Okay. All right, thank you then.
Thank you for coming. So you're gonna be there Tuesday to the planning board with us. And then the board needs to be there, because I posted it that we're all gonna be there if you can be. If you can't be. The other thing I'm asking of the board members, if you can't make a meeting, would you please call me so I know? Because if I have to step in and fill a position for you, I need to read material and whatever I need to do to help out, so.
I have one last thing. We have Bob in the back, who tapes all the meetings. We have Larry Brown out front. So when we're working in terms of the town and the committees, Bob and Larry are here almost every night, and they know exactly what's going on. And I'd like to thank them for the time that they spend and the clarification that they give us, and they try to make things work in terms of the school and the town. And I think that that's what we're all trying to do. We're all in this, we're all on the same team, and they certainly are on the same team. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, now I'm gonna ask the board what they wanna do about these, does anybody 1, 2, 3.
Oh my God.
I think we
saw
should
that
take
and I'm
them, the group, the policy committee amply has come in during July and August, and Melissa has concurred. It's been a loose compendium of untold hours, and I think as a block, you should approve them. And if Peg Heard has some grammatical changes, she could do the same thing that she did with Jan. She can phone them in. But I
phone a
think,
friend.
Yep.
I just have notes on 2 that we had questions about.
yes.
What was that? Which one?
On
So-
first readings or second readings?
On the second readings one.
All right.
We talked about EEBB, use of private vehicles to transport students.
Yes.
The way it had been proposed to us was not that we could not, it didn't, the policy given to us to review did not say that we could not drive kids in personal vehicles. But that's how we ended up writing it. And then Jan brought up the fact that she and Jen do sometimes have to bring students home. They make sure they're always together. So we decided we would talk to legal about it. I called. They said, honestly, the policy they write the policy the way that they do because there isn't a lot of actual statute about what we have to do. Even the insurance, all the insurance stuff is sort of just what the DOT.
You hold on.
Yeah.
I'm looking at, oh,
Yeah, it's this one, the second one.
no, I'm sorry. I was looking at your hand and it wasn't the one I was looking at. Go ahead.
Basically, the idea is to make the restriction, even though we don't have to, there's no statute, to make the restrictions stringent so that transporting kids in personal vehicles is limited.
Okay.
So we can write it how we see fit. We can keep it with this, high insurance coverage, et cetera, as long as we keep in mind that we need to write it in a way that allows Jan and Jen to bring students home.
Okay. I guess my question would be, if we leave this, because Jan basically said very few people have that $500,000
Right.
insurance. So if they end up taking kids home, I mean, if we have a policy and they only have, say, 100, 300, or 300, 100, whatever it is, and something happens on the way home, then the school district is now liable for that. So, I mean, either we reduce it and just say, administration can, or just no.
Right. We just need
No.
we need to craft it in a way that works.
Do you want to table this one or go forward with the EBB?
I don't think we can go forward with it as written.
No,
So you want to send it back to the policy committee?
and get more.
I make a motion that
Okay.
we send EEBB back to the policy committee.
Okay, I will second that. I agree.
And Peg? See, we
Aye.
we removed that one. Now, does anybody have problem, let me read them off, with B? Wait till she gets that copied. Does anybody have any problem with the rest of them on the second reading?
Motion to
No, we
send back
went
to
through all of
policy.
those and they look
Actually,
good.
we did have a question on one of them.
Come here.
We,
Doug,
vote on
aye.
that one? Oh, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Aye,
Aye.
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 so it's going back to the policy
Okay,
committee.
good, thank you.
All right, that's done.
This one.
The other policy we had a question on for at our first reading was IHBG about participation in public school activities by home educated charter and non-public pupils. Our question, as written here, it said that the principal is making decisions, and we sort of discussed that maybe that wasn't the best choice, that maybe the superintendent should be making the decision. For example, transportation to and from school generally shall not be provided. The principal may make an exception, or the principal's decision shall be final.
No, I want to, this is the one I have a problem with, okay, and this is the one I've been looking for. I don't think that the principals should be involved in transportation. That's school board authority.
So you, not superintendent, you want to say school board.
No, I don't want principal in there in any way.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I want principal removed. I think there's two statements in there,
All right, under what
Right.
numbers?
So-
3 and 4. I think that's school board policy. If you just remembered, we just had an incident with daycare down here. We did busing. Who made the decision? The school board.
So you want that to be the school board may make an exception
Yes.
based on our, okay.
It's our authority.
Should
I'm fine with that.
be.
I make a motion, we change that.
All right, Doug, I'm totally, is this
For-
IHBG
Yeah, that's the one she's got in her hand.
education?
Yeah.
That's the one she has in her hand.
No, it's a totally,
Must have a different one.
What numbers
I
are you
do.
looking at?
I'm looking at IHBG,
Yep.
Yeah.
and she just showed me something totally different that I'm
3
not
and
even
4.
seeing anywhere here.
What's that one?
Huh?
Well, that's an R, ain't it? got an R on the
Home
end.
education instruction access
That might
to
be different.
curricular and co-curricular programs. Oh,
It should be the.
And I'm not seeing anything with
The R.
Should be the fifth one in.
principal here.
me neither. And I just wrote that all down on there.
Okay, we tracked it, then I think it's the wrong one.
Oh, that's
I think that's the one I got sent back.
that's weird because this is the first one we looked at. It doesn't look anything like the other one.
Yeah.
Both of those IHBG or whatever it is.
One's got an R after it, the one with the principal.
This one says R, participation.
So the one with an R, but I don't even
So
have.
these
we
they
don't
are
even
list,
have
they
it
are
in
different.
Yeah, because this one is access to curricular
here. I don't have any.
I
and
think that one we
co-curricular
did.
programs, and this one was okay. I
Yeah,
don't
this
think
one was
this-
okay for second reading. This
Yeah.
was the one we were re-looking at.
Yeah.
Okay,
So is this not even on this one then?
No.
No,
no,
So we'll just
Oops.
put it in the next.
Oops. Let me-
wait a minute.
yeah, no, I'm not seeing it anywhere, even on the first readings.
Okay.
Oops.
Okay, so put it.
So you put that one aside.
Okay, say, BCA, Board Member Ethics. That's for second reading.
That one looked fine.
Okay, EFAA, School Lunch Program Meal Charges.
That one we looked at.
Wait a minute, let me just check my page. So I made some notes on the other ones. EFAB, Food Service Collection. You okay with that one?
Well, the only question I had on this one, you know the 75-page one that you guys worked on last year with Laura,
Noseworthy
And
and,
Yeah.
Yep.
and then broke down?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We decided to scrap it and just put what needed to be in it.
Okay.
And at the school level, at the office level, we'll work on the procedures. Because it'll be different for each school.
Okay, all right. Because that was my only question. I just remembered.
Yeah, I was
Spent
getting
so much-
So you okay with that one, Peg?
Yeah, okay. Then I'm fine with that one.
then the IHBG, the
That
correct
one
one in the
we
packet.
worked on last time.
Yeah. IJ, Instructional Resources and Instructional Resource Plan.
That one should be okay.
And IKFC, Alternate Diploma for Students with Significant Cognitive Disabilities.
Yeah, that one should be
I
okay.
make, any questions on those? I make a motion, we approve those as presented.
Second?
Let me get that down. You got that, and Peg?
So when it goes for second reading and then you say approve as presented or.
It goes back.
Done.
It's done, it goes to,
Yep.
get put in the file. Doug, aye.
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 So we're all set on those.
Okay.
Yes. And that was Douglas and Peg. All right, we'll put them down there, because that was what, that was all of those right there. And then we sent one back, didn't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
EEBB sent that.
Yeah.
EEBB,
P-
motion to send back to
Okay.
policy.
Okay, that one I can remove. Okay, all right, got that. Okay, all right. Now, I'll start with the first one. And this was at ADC / GBED, then / IJCB, tobacco products ban use and possession in and on school facilities and grounds. Do I have any corrections on that one?
No.
We happy to send that one forward?
I just have a quick question. That was the one that, and I know you when I asked you about it, Doug, but it is listed here for first reading under all three
Yeah.
sets of initials,
Yeah,
but it's exactly the same
yeah.
policy. So you said something about, these things go into different sections in the
Correct.
book,
Different.
but what kind of a different section would,
They're
Drug
under
and
different
alcohol.
headings.
pardon?
Different headings within the book.
I know, but my question is, this relates to, we can't have tobacco and all of that on school facilities and grounds.
Because
Why would it be under 3 different?
You have to look at the
Okay.
categories. Go ahead.
I think it's because this is information pertaining to students. It's also information pertaining to employees. It's also, so when you're trying to look up
Okay, so in
information,
the book.
it's
All
like
right.
sorted,
Okay.
even though it's
Yeah.
the same policy.
Okay, that's fine.
I
Thank you.
learned
At least that makes sense
I
to
learned
me.
that
Yeah.
at my policy meeting.
So you
And I
okay,
remembered.
Okay.
fast learner. Okay, the next one is ADB/GBEC, drug-free workplace and drug-free schools. I think we have to, it's optional on the back. If you look on page 151, there's something that's optional. Do we want to do that?
What's optional?
On the back.
Whether we can or
It
not.
says optional.
Nate, you just lost some points.
No
didn't
sticker
like you
for
anymore.
D. No sticker.
Wait a minute, it's getting late.
It's late.
I'm trying to,
So am I.
we all set with that, or we just want to,
We're all set with that.
Buy a syringe service. What?
so we okay to move that one?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, Ted.
Sure.
Sure, she said.
BEDG minutes,
Great.
move that one.
Ooh, I didn't even get to read this.
BEDH, public comment and participation at board meetings.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, there's only one problem.
Uh-oh.
1 and 2 under rules orders, we gotta designate how often we wanna let people speak. I believe in, people speaking their mind personally. And I don't have no problem letting people speak. I may have to go ahead, Larry.
That
There I go. Go ahead, Larry.
insofar as you may not regulate the content of speech once the person is speaking, it would be wise to limit them to a time so that when they are ranting into the 5th hour of your meeting, you have a way to stop them.
But if the board takes a look at this book here, it's already been done. The allotment of time in the school policy book. I think it allows 3 minutes.
3 minutes per person.
And so
yeah.
does this.
Well, you could put a figure in there. So we want to leave those 2 figures in there? And we don't have to adhere to them, because I don't believe it.
But we can if we have to.
If you need to, yeah.
I think they're reasonable.
Okay, you think so?
Larry,
Everybody agree?
excuse me. He has the big mallet in the back
Who's
on the
that?
table.
Bob?
Doug?
No, you.
I got the little one this time. Bob's
No,
got
the
the
big
big
one
one.
is still in the back, so,
Bob's
you
got
know,
it.
somebody's
Yes.
talking too
This
loud.
is the Norwegian skull.
And now we got EB, we're leaving it as it is.
Okay.
No, EBCA, Crisis Prevention and Emergency Response Plans.
Great.
We okay with that one?
Isn't that what Jan followed last week?
We all right with that one?
Yes.
Now, EHAB, Data Governance and Security.
His governance?
Sure.
Yes, we're all set.
Now, the only problem we have with that, on page 158, we got a couple of slashes there. Do we have to put something in there?
Huh?
The Director of Technology, the Assistant Director of Technology. And then down on page on page 159, there's a, want to fill them in later, or what do we want to do with those?
We can fill them in later.
Okay, send it forward.
Yes. We're just gonna put Earl's name and everything.
EHB-R, Local Records and Retention Schedule.
Oh,
Looks good.
did you miss this EHB one?
Yeah, he did. That
You
one
did.
looks good too.
Okay, I
Which-
thought so. You missed
Which one?
Oh, that wasn't next to my
EHB
package.
dash data records retention.
Was it my next
That's
package?
EHB.
Yeah, he missed it.
Yeah, he did.
Data retention, yes, what do you?
What page is it?
161.
161. You just, yeah.
Ain't got it.
No.
You don't have it?
It's probably, is it behind your?
I have 2.
Oh,
I
maybe
thought you
we-
gave me one of
Doug, it's
yours.
in your hands.
Oh, that's 163.
Well, here's the next 161. I have 2.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'll go back to
Oh,
this.
I'm not-
I'm sorry.
We're not going back.
We're done.
E,
I didn't have it. EHB data retention, we okay with that one?
Yep.
Okay, sorry about that, board members. EHB dash R local records and retention schedule, you okay with that one? Okay. GBCH slash ADB, drug-free workplace and drug-free schools.
Yep. Same as the original.
Okay, that's the one, that's a repeat, we already done that
Here.
one. Okay. Oh God, here we go again.
Another repeat.
Is it another repeat? We've had it before. So just move on.
Yep.
This is GBED,
DBE.
ADC, CI,
Okay.
CG. Now the next one is ILD, non-educational, non-academic,
Questionnaires.
and surveys and research. Do we have any problem with that one?
Nope.
You all set?
I'm all set.
I might think we gotta wait for Tammy here.
Oh, yeah, you gotta wait for me.
IMDA is patriotic exercises, page 175. You got that, Tammy?
What? Do we do this?
You got that? IMDA patriotic exercises. Now the other one is IMGA service animals in schools.
And the horse was in here?
Yeah.
This is general.
Okay, the only thing is, I wanna know who cleans up the poop. That's all right.
Bring my pet snake in.
It's an
No, you
awful
can't.
sport.
Read the policy. Bring your rabbit.
Oh,
ICA,
okay.
change of school or assignment, best interests.
Oh, JCA.
JCA.
JC, I'm sorry.
I know, it's
My
right.
false tooth again.
Yep.
Can't talk.
This tea.
We all see?
Yep.
Blame it on my teeth. JEC, change of school or assignments, manifest educational hardships.
Yep.
We all set?
Yep.
JIC, student conduct.
Yep.
We all set?
Behave, children. Yep.
JICD, student discipline and due process.
Yes.
We all set with that one?
All set with that one.
Just a question, page 186, one short-term suspension, there's a dash there. What do we need to put in? We want to kick it forward, fill it in later?
It says building principal. It just has a big line in front of
I'm
it.
just going to leave it that way then.
Yeah, the building principal.
Okay, I have no problem with that. Just want to make sure. Here's that one for the third time here. JICG, ADC, GBED, tobacco products ban use, possession in or on school facilities. Done that one several times.
JJJ.
Yeah, access to public programs by non-public
Charter.
school, charter schools and home-educated pupils.
Yep.
We all set? JRA, student records and access. It says
Purple.
FERPA?
FERPA.
Okay, all right. I don't know how to say it, but it's all right, thank you.
Purple.
So we all set with that one?
Yep.
Send it to the, okay, all right, that's it. Okay, I make a motion, we approve all of them from page 148 to page 196.
I second that.
Wait, we go to second reading, right?
Second reading,
Okay.
correct. What was that, 196? 96 and for the second reading, 148 to 196. Now, was that easy for you? Tried to make it easy. Douglas, aye.
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 Thank you very much, everybody.
Down.
Okay, now the next, 197,
Policies for deletion.
that's right. 198 and 200.
Yep.
Okay, what's this? I think that's where we're moving,
The previous
The
purple.
old, the old purple.
the JRAR. I make a motion that we move, BBBH, recognition of organization and operation of school board administrative unit, SAU board. That's page 197.
Yes.
Next one is a BBBH-R, recognition of an organization and operation.
You missed a B on that one, Doug.
Did I? 3 Bs? Sorry.
4 Bs.
3.
3.
You're adding them.
1, 2,
Yeah,
3, 4,
No,
H,
no,
R.
that's it. Here it's 3.
That was only 3.
HR, next one.
There's still only 3 on
Says
On the actual
GBB.
policy.
Oh,
Dash
well,
R.
it's in here.
Dash
It's
R.
Oh,
45.
come on.
That reads,
Human error on those.
recognition of organization and operation of school administrative unit, SAU School Board.
Taking it out.
Okay, thank you, Peg, for noticing that. So I missed stuff. EBC, crisis prevention and response,
Taking it out.
yeah. Then, JRA/R,
Taking it out.
and that is student records and access, and that's your FERBA?
Furper.
Would you pronounce that for me?
Furper.
Okay, I make a motion that we delete from page 196 policies to, what was the last page?
207.
207?
Second.
207? Douglas, and who, yeah. Who'd we put down for second, because I heard a lot of voices.
I second.
Me. Oh, I
Second
did.
that.
I did.
Well, pick a name, any name. We all seconded it.
Who am I picking?
Whatever you want, it doesn't matter. I got put Peg.
Oh my God.
Aye,
Aye.
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 thank you, they've been deleted, removed. Okay,
P.
I gotta find out where I am, everybody, 'cause
Motion to
I am
delete
lost, people.
the following.
Turn everything, we're on to general assistance.
Well,
The
we got any,
following policy.
we got no school board business, we all set with that?
All we gotta do is assert, Nate will concur with me, that all along you've been approving all the grants, and just we have to formally say that the board concurs with the general assurances of the grants, correct, Nate?
Yes.
That's, was
We
it,
just have to take a
you talking
vote.
about page 208?
The board
Yeah.
No, I'm
approves the
sorry.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, it's that
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
section.
Well, I was on the other page, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Do we have to adopt that, or we all
Yeah,
set?
just that
The
you
board
approve the
approves
general assurances of all
general-
grants.
Do we want a motion on that?
Yes,
I'll make a motion that we approve.
I'll second it.
general assurances of all grants.
Peg that time,
No,
okay.
just,
Doug,
Okay,
Peg,
you guys.
motion.
okay, well, tell me when you're ready, I'll call the vote.
Yeah.
Good, we're,
Doug, yes,
Aye.
we're efficient.
Aye.
Aye.
so we've done that, okay,
P. Yay.
all right. That's, okay, we did the CIP. I just want to go back on the front of that page, we had no school board business, we all set on that?
Huh?
School board business, did we have any?
Page 6, because we didn't,
Oh.
Nah,
no, that took care of
that's
that,
just
that's
a
it.
topic.
I think you've
Yeah.
had
That's
about
just
3
the
hours
topic.
of
I
it.
know,
That's what you're doing.
I agree with that.
Okay,
Okay, now we need to go into.
no,
Oh,
A.
no.
committee and board
Public
member
comment.
reports.
Okay.
Okay.
Committee, we met today. Policy met.
Go ahead.
We went over a couple of policies.
We are cruising.
You
We
definitely are.
are caught up, I believe, and ready for the next round. That Kathy will give us for the fall,
Okay.
right?
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Anything else for policy? We're moving on to
No, I
Peg?
think we're getting pretty far. Peg?
Peg. Budget committee. Budget training. The New Hampshire School Board Association. I started something because I asked if we could have budget committee members go, and called up and, blah, blah, blah. And then the next thing we know, we get an email from New Hampshire School Board Association, absolutely. And if you're registered with them as a school district, then the budget committee members do not have to pay. And they just thought it was an absolutely wonderful idea to have the local budget committee members go to the training. So it is on the 23rd at 5:30 in the community room. And I just need a final count. I will get a final count from the budget committee on Saturday. But I just need to know how many people here are going.
I'll go.
So,
September 23rd in community room.
yes, at 5:30. So, Doug, Emily,
That's a Monday.
It's at 5. I'm going to see if I can change my schedule. I'll let you know.
Community
okay, yeah, if you
room
can let me know as soon as
at
possible,
5.
please.
I will talk to them tomorrow.
And this is
Okay.
a training and I don't need to go. Right?
Nope, and I don't know if any administrators want to go.
Yes, you have to go.
You have to go, she said.
I'm on vacation.
Oh,
I'll be out of state.
he's far away.
As far away as you can go. But I didn't know if any of the administrators
I
wanted
can
to
let them
go.
know. I'll let them know.
Okay, and if you can let me know so that I can give them,
You can get them moved if you want.
okay? So that was it.
My kids are still awake. I gotta get them.
All right, what I'm gonna do is just let people, excuse me, miss.
Go ahead.
They're collated, they're separated. Oh, here's
Do I
another
get one?
Yeah, you can get one too. At our last budget committee meeting, a tentative, very tentative schedule for the school board to present our budgets to the budget committee.
Is it 3 pages, Peg?
Yes, November, December, and January.
Do you need one, Bob?
Okay?
Okay.
It is tentative, but I guess maybe we need to start thinking about what we're gonna do with getting our budgets together and doing it. But I just said that I would make sure that we got it, so that everybody could look at it. The budget committee is meeting with the town this Saturday from 9 o'clock until God only knows when, to go through all of their budgets.
No.
So rather than doing, like 3 at night and continuing, we're just doing them all on Saturday.
Now, are we gonna be, as a school board, we gonna be doing Saturdays?
No, no.
The town's doing that though?
The town is doing it primarily because they have so many different departments, and when we present, we've already met with, the principals and transportation and everybody. And then Nate puts together that wonderful book, so we do one presentation.
So we can meet with, we can discuss the schedule and have Nate look at it and Earl look at it.
And then backtrack for when we need to start
Yeah, and then
looking
get
at
back
our
to the
budgets.
budget committee.
Yeah.
I have no problem with this.
Okay.
I have a
Bob?
comment on this.
Oh, you do? Go ahead.
This was not supposed to go out to the committee. It was just for the committee members. Okay, this is just an idea of where we're gonna go, so the new members can see where we're gonna probably end up landing. Now, January, there's some dates that are gonna have to change. I saw the public hearing is not the 14th, it's the 21st for the town,
So
but
it's tentative.
you guys, I scheduled you always ahead of it. That's gonna change. I have to take that whole thing out, because I just got the important dates already. This is just preliminary. The chairman is going to decide, he's looking at his calendar, and he's going to meet with Doug and Earl when the time comes, and he will put something together.
Okay.
This was just for the committee, so we can keep an idea of where we're going, because we're gonna have a lot of time left. And I don't think we can start any sooner than that, because you guys just got started with the school, and
Yeah.
it takes you time. Last year, you did it in November, but we had to cancel the very first meeting because of the default budget, the changes that were made. So, this is just, yes,
Nate.
Nate?
I would just like to throw out there that
Nate's always
I
ready.
still have to learn how to do this in a new system.
Well, you better get started, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but that's why I pushed everything back. We're not gonna, okay, if it ever came out, but we're early. And I decide if we could do it one time in November, but push everything to December, because you're better equipped to do that. The town, they're ready to go. Just, you guys would be a little later, but it wouldn't be so bad. With new members on board, I'm looking at maybe 4 meetings, because there's gonna be an awful lot of questions, I'm sure of it. And, but that's just a tentative schedule. If you look at the dates, December is not exactly very friendly of where we're gonna go. There's open dates there, but it was just a preliminary. I didn't really want this to come out just yet.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, Bob, but I just know that at our meeting, Tom said, great, I will make sure that I get it to Earl and Doug and Nate, and they hadn't gotten it yet. And it's like, okay, well, let's at least take a look at it and put in our minds that we need to get started.
He will
So-
contact them and with a schedule, okay?
Okay,
He's doing the calendar, he's looking at everything. I think he's very busy with this coming Saturday.
yeah. So, okay,
This is just tentative, just for new members, in case they got a question. I may not be able to make it at that day, so I'll have to probably play around with it. We have to play around with other town official schedules, because if this room is booked, we have to work all the way around it. Okay?
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
moving
happy.
on.
Okay.
Okay, so, thank you.
Just remember, January is not correct. It
Okay,
needs
all
to be
right,
changed.
all right, okay. So, anything else? Any committees?
The only thing is I'm trying to follow through or follow up with the scoreboard. There obviously was some miscommunication with the email that I got from Jim Flanagan. Certainly sounded as if he had paid the $50 for the electrical permit. And anyway, it's all cleared up now. He didn't pay the money. So, anyway, so it's all cleared up. The conduit is down, everything is covered up, and I sent an email out going, okay, what's the next step? Where's the concrete? Where's Pat Smith digging up the great big huge hole for the concrete? Blah, blah, blah. And I haven't heard anything back from anybody, so.
He was into the town office to request an inspection.
What's been done has been inspected too, so that part is done. I mean, the next step is digging the big hole for the concrete, getting the concrete poured, and then somebody finding the posts, the big posts. So right now it's just at a standstill.
So we
I will
still,
keep on people's
Yeah.
backs.
but we still gotta run the wires though, don't we?
Right, right.
Is it Andy?
Go ahead.
No, he's not doing anything.
Okay, because I ran into him. He said
Yeah.
something about it.
So anyway, that's all I have.
Anything else? Any other committee reports?
No. Yep.
Okay, Larry, I guess we're staring at you. Public comments.
You have 3 minutes.
Thank you for your work. Any details that you can bring to flesh out the warrants can only help. The CIP has authority, but it's advisory, and you do what you have to do.
Well, you could bring the truck and give them a ride in it.
That's the best way.
Sorry.
That's what we should
Love
do at voting day, park the truck out front.
Thank you,
There
Ron.
you go.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry, for everything,
We're
seriously.
trying.
And for your definition of pending.
Oh, pending.
Pending.
Probably from pendare, to hang, from which you get pendulous, as in low-hanging fruit.
Pendulum.
Pendant, and pendulum. But probably not pennant.
No,
I'll
no.
check.
No, that thing you wave around. So,
That's-
yeah, okay.
Siri on your phones?
What?
We don't need Siri on our phone.
Siri
We
on
have
the
Larry.
phones. Got Larry.
Yeah.
My name is Larry. I'm gonna
Larry on the
my
phone.
my Siri.
Get Larry on the phone.
Larry on the phone. Thanks, Larry.
Larry will give us a definition of just about anything.
All right. I need a motion to go into non-public.
Motion to adjourn. Motion to go in non-public.
Second. You all right?
Oh,
That'll be under 91A, 3, 2A, B, C, I, J, and K.
We're gonna be here for
Oh my
longer.
God.
No, you're not.
Not much.
Not much.
Gotta be
We got-
my kiddo.
we got some things we gotta discuss.
Eyes.
Aye, Douglas. Emily.
Aye.
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 Yeah, we're in